Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Voice of Mail podcast, a podcast series where you send voicemails into us and we use them as base discussions. We talk about pop culture, politics, random stuff. You can go to voiceofmail.com and send us a voice message. We appreciate all the love we get on Instagram and Facebook and all the other stuff. But I want to make a quick announcement. We're on YouTube, but to be honest with you, I'm going to make a change. I've been posting these podcasts in full on YouTube, but I've been speaking to some people. I think the better strategy is to do what we're doing on Instagram, leaving clips out. So this is the last episode in full you're going to see on YouTube. If you want the whole thing, you're going to have to listen to the whole podcast on Podbean or your favorite podcast app like everybody else. Thank you guys for listening.
That's a good idea, by the way.
Go on, Stanley.
That's a good idea.
Oh, thanks, Stanley.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Speaking of which, I'm joined by my co-host in arms, Stanley Icon and Mike. Sir, welcome back.
Thank you. How you doing?
Not doing too bad. Our third member of the podcast is still not here. It's still away in France, enjoying his life. I'll give him a boo sound in post. I can't be bothered right now. Jolie Farah, stand-up comedian extraordinaire. If you can hear this right now, F you.
We love you.
So
By the way, how have you been doing with your French lessons? You were supposed to be learning French, right? New Year's resolution? Or?
No, what can I say in French right now?
Okay, moving on. I forget I asked.
All right, so last time we had William Hicks on the medical professional extraordinaire. And you know what? I reached out to him and he said, you know what? I would love to come back. So you know what? That's exactly what we did. We got William Hicks back here, the medical professional. He was all jumping on Captain Marvel's pancake derriere, so to speak. So William Hicks, welcome back to the Voice of Mail podcast.
Oh man, I need to go back to Clapham and go to Weatherspoons for the That's the best impression I could do of that motherfucker. I mean, come on.
That wasn't bad. He's a big Weatherspoons advocate. Yes.
That is true. So
This is exactly my point. It's like healthcare professional. That motherfucker's never in a hospital. No wonder people die at the NHS. Every time I text them, what are you up to? Oh man, I couldn't get into work this week, so I just stayed at home. I'm going to go to Weatherspoons later. They got the app, so you don't have to order. You can order on your phone. It's really good. I was like, no wonder people die. It's like, you never at work.
So, guys, in case you don't notice that voice, it's also the millennium Simon Rad.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry for being late, but I ran into Liam Neeson outside. He's looking for you.
He's carrying a kosh.
I'm telling you, man, this guy. I always told Simon he's got another alternate reality profession as a stand-up comedian, you know. But I always tell you, you're the brother of Andrew Schultz. You look like Andrew Schultz. You got the same cutting edge, asshole-ish comedy.
Nobody knows who the fuck that motherfucker even is.
What's your Twitter handle again? Simon_Rad.
No,
Hit him up and let him know who. You know what? You and Andrew Schultz are twin brothers. Definitely twin brothers. But anyway, Simon,
my dad probably, yes.
Simon, thanks for coming back, buddy. How you been, man? How are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. I'm pretty good. I mean, nothing to say except impersonating Will. Apparently, it's like he fuck that motherfucker, because everything he did last show, guess who had to hear the Raven rant about it live? Me. I'm like, you got his number, just leave him a 25-minute WhatsApp message.
Yeah, he said that Raven's gonna be pissed off with that.
That was in real time. Yeah, exactly.
Do you know what the best part about this is? Do you know who upsets Raven more than Will? You.
But
so
I like what's her name? See now, help me out, Captain Marvel.
Brie
Larson. Yeah, I think she was fine. She's supposed to look fit like a soldier. It's not like sexual. Like, it's not.
Let's not have that conversation again.
No, I thought she was fine. I don't know what's up with Will. I mean, I think he's going down. He's going down a very weird thing where he's into girls with shaved heads, and now he doesn't care about breasts, just like a firm asshole to hold.
Do you know what?
So I'm like, so you like bold guys basically with big butts.
Well, you know what? That's funny because that's one side of him, the black side. And the flat. Anyway, I'm not even going to go down that because I'm going to get myself in trouble here. You know what? It's a voicemail podcast, so we're going to start with a voicemail coming from one of our regulars. And you won't say, and I'm not going to lie, I just cut this voicemail in half just for time We got a lot of catching up to do. We haven't been around for 2 weeks. We're going to catch up on a few old news stories. Nuance is going to bring them up. Something a bit older, something a bit newer. And Simon, I gotta say, I'm not gonna do the safety net for you. I'm not gonna edit this shit out. I'm just gonna warn you now.
That's one way of saying you're
Watch
too
your
lazy.
step.
Yeah, exactly. That's one way of saying you're too lazy this week to work.
No,
It's like,
I'm just
I'm
saying.
not gonna put the safety net, man. I'm not gonna
For
edit
you,
anything.
For you. You get yourself in so much trouble. I save you us, but this time I'm not going to. You're completely unfiltered.
I'm a very liberal, well-spoken, compassionate guy, so I should be fine.
Mark the time code in the podcast. So I warned him. I warned you guys, but most of you guys love him. I know T-Kun has a big soft spot in her heart.
Because she has good taste, that's why.
She does. So anyway, let's move on to the voicemail. This one is Nuance is just going to jump in, and we're going to catch up with things that we kind of fallen back on in the last couple of weeks.
Falling back. Oh gosh.
Yeah.
I just wanted to know as well what you guys think about the Jussie Smolett situation. I really want to know your opinion on that. And I also want to know what you guys think about the whole Nipsey Hussle situation that's just happened this week. Super, super sad. Rest in peace, for real. I think it's horrible. It's a travesty. I'm lost for words, especially when you see someone so positive that's trying to do so much for the community. But I just want to know your opinions on those two things.
All right, let's take this one step at a time. Let's start with the Smollett thing because it's the older news story. Smollett basically got off. I'm going to play... Oh, my God. You know what? Funny enough, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to bring this up. This happened. We're a bit late. Everyone's spoken about it. Ironically, today, there's been an update to the Smollett case.
Okay.
Update? I thought this was over. I thought it was acquitted. Let me play the clip just talking about his acquittal, and let me play the update today, which really made me smile.
Hours ago, prosecutors in Chicago dropped all charges against actor Jussie Smollett. Smollett, you'll remember, was facing 16 felony counts for faking an elaborate hate crime against himself back in January. Police say Smollett hired 2 Nigerian bodybuilders to hang a noose around his neck, pour bleach on him, and scream, "This is MAGA country!" because that kind of thing happens a lot in downtown Chicago during the winter months. Smollett then told credulous reporters he had been assaulted by 2 white racist Trump supporters. Well, as of tonight, police still believe that Smollett was lying about all that. So do prosecutors. They think he concocted the hoax, and they said so yet again today. And yet the state of Illinois is somehow, for some reason, dumping the case anyway. In exchange for the $100,000 he has already paid in bond, Smollett will walk free. His record will be expunged. Everything will return to normal like it never happened. Smollett described this decision as a victory, not just for him, but for the broader cause of civil rights.
I've been truthful and consistent on every single level since day one. I would not be my mother's son if I was capable of one drop of what I've been accused of. This has been an incredibly difficult time, honestly one of the worst of my entire life. But I am a man of faith, and I'm a man that has knowledge of my history, and I would not bring my family, our lives, or the movement through a fire like this. I just wouldn't.
Before I get to the update, let's just talk about what we think about this case, the acquittal, stuff like that. So
You had to play fucking Sean Hannity in my ear, though.
No, that was the other one. Tucker Carlson.
Those Fox News motherfuckers. Can somebody throw a rope around their neck for once? Jesus Christ.
They do it to themselves all the time, like in terms of what they spew. But
I know what you mean. What kind of name is Jussie, by the way? It's like you have 2 retarded parents, and they can make up if they want to call you Juicy or Jesse, so they just call you fucking Jussie. It's like, what kind of name is that? This motherfucker. Anyway,
I know. You didn't do me any favors. So, what do you guys think of this case? And before there's a funny update, but before, what do you think of them throwing this out? Because actually, you know what is wrong with me? I'm missing something here. Conspiracy music time. Jussie Smollett. All charges dropped.
yeah,
good.
Conspiracy.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good. You serious?
No, okay. Should I give you insight how his lawyer did it?
The music's playing, Simon. It's time for you to reveal the secrets. Why was he let go?
I think the lawyer went to the Chicago police and said, "Look, this guy's a fucking idiot."
Let me stop the music because it's working for me.
Yeah.
Hey, God.
He probably went to the Chicago police and said, "Look, this guy's a fucking idiot. He just got kicked off the show. In 5 years' time,
He didn't get kicked off the show, by the way. even at that time, when he was due going through the process, they cut his character at the ending. That's just, there was only obvious they were going to do that.
Yeah.
Because he couldn't turn up for so he was making that hullabaloo like he wasn't on the show enough, but they didn't cut him off.
Yeah, but now he's not on Empire anymore, right?
He'll be back, obviously. The shows have not tweeted that, we're welcoming him back, blah, 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 blah. And it's only
for fucking real. Okay,
yeah, of course. Why would they not do that?
Because he's innocent, apparently.
So that drops the theory that I had this big theory where basically he said you're gonna get him in tax evasion in 5 years, and that's
the long game, you know.
Yeah, exactly, and that's gonna be clean. Instead, now you have half the people yelling at you for racial prejudice, the other half yelling at you because he lied and you need to prosecute him. Avoid the drama and just get him for tax evasion, because he's gonna, these people can't sustain themselves. They taste money once and then they're never gonna go back to a day job. So that's it. That's all you have to do. Just let him destroy himself. But
you don't sound like you were surprised when you heard he got acquitted or they dropped and they completely sealed it.
Look, if this motherfucker would go to prison 2 days in, he would be hanging from the ceiling with a belt around his neck. Like,
man,
nobody.
Probably, I want to laugh, but that's probably true.
Yeah,
why? He seems like a martyr. Yeah, he seems like the kind of person who would want to martyr himself, or I'm so sorry I fucked up and all that. I wouldn't have been surprised.
The lawyer probably said to the prosecutor, "You're gonna ruin your career if you put this guy in jail. Everybody's gonna hate you for it. So they're gonna dig up some stuff about his childhood, like he couldn't help himself. He was never loved. He just wanted attention." So everybody thought about their own career and said, "I don't want to touch this guy right now."
I don't think this happened at all, by the way.
He's kryptonite.
Mm-hmm. I don't think at all. Stanley,
I think it just comes down to money, to be honest. I think he was able to his lawyers were able to go to the lawmakers or the prosecutors or whatever of the state and say, look, we have got this and this much money and you can either take it or we've got this and this. They probably had some technicalities that they could fight and like make this a living hell for the prosecutors. I think that's how they managed to put it away. So I think it's a case of money.
But apparently he was already indicted on the charges he was brought for a jury and it was kind of closed, but then they say something behind the scenes they want to seal wasn't right about the case on a whole, and they just decided that this whole thing's been tainted. Something went wrong. It reminds me of so they're like, you know what? We thought we had him, but we didn't, and there could be some kind of corruption. There's a lot of, that's why I played conspiracy music. There's a lot of ideas of how this could have been partly set up, partly so it's like we just got to seal this whole shit, wash it away, and it seems like this guy got away with something, but also there's something very dubious about the whole thing. It's sealed. The whole thing's sealed now. They kept his bond. I think it was it 10,000 or something?
Yeah. It was his bail money, but I'm sure he's gonna donate to the same R. Kelly Chicago Police Fund. It's like R. Kelly donates every year, and like Stanley said, all the prosecutors and attorneys as well as the judges, they all run campaigns on a different level, either for their private firms or for their office. So you can donate through multiple channels. And come on now, we all know A, Lee Daniels is probably fucking this guy, and B, he probably put him up to it, because this guy's way too dumb to concoct this scheme that he came up with. Sounds like an episode of Empire. I'm sure Lee Daniels thought this is gonna boost ratings, and we're gonna take this character that nobody really likes and make him like the star of the show. And I'm gonna have Juicy, whatever the fuck his name is. Yeah, it's like, my son. When a gay man, it opens up with that, like, not like every gay person, but like when Lee Daniels, to be specific, opens up with like, Jussie, I love you, you're my son, they're fucking. That's just as simple as it is. Because he could have said, I really respect Jussie as an artist. I have faith that he's telling the truth, and I'm supporting him at these tough times. You don't come in like, I love you.
I was surprised that it was just sealed, because everyone just thought this is the next step is him obviously being arrested.
I thought he was definitely gonna get the book thrown at him or something.
It looked very bad, but now he's acting like a member of the British royal family. It's like, just seal the documents.
Yeah, but the funny thing is, the court of public opinion just see him as now a black ruined elite. Like, wow, the kind of the perception I'm getting from this now from the people is like, you know what? If anything, this is just showing that celebrity, is powerful regardless of color. There's no way this guy should have got away with it. This just shows that even black people and celebrity can be protected by,
but
certain powers.
Stanley got it 100% right. It's just a question of money. If you have the amount of resources, a lawsuit is just a waiting game.
I believe they fucked up. I believe something went wrong with the actual case. Somewhere something went wrong. Maybe if you watch, again, this is the last bit I'm going to say about this before I play the update, is that if you watch that Netflix series Making the Murderer, there was a part where they found a vial where someone took the blood to plant it. So it's like they might have had him on something, but then some police officer might have went the extra mile to add something to the case to make him more guilty, and that just fucked up the whole thing. And they're like, look, they've tainted the whole case, now we have to see it and fuck off. And to me, I think that's what happened, personally. I don't think his money saved him. I don't think this guy, even as an artist, even as an actor, he ain't nothing special. He's fourth tier on Empire. Fourth tier.
He's definitely Z-list, but I mean, money's like I said. I think Lee Daniels probably helped him out in everything, including.
There's a conspiracy that Michelle Obama has actually put a word in to help him out as well.
Why would
there's
that
some
sounds like a big conspiracy?
No, people
Michelle
think there's some
Obama.
ties between him and Michelle Obama.
I know Michelle Obama does a lot for the mentally handicapped, but I don't think she goes that far. I don't think she wants to adopt this, little dumbass Z-list celebrity. I don't know, man. I mean, but at the same time, I mean, who gives a shit?
Well, let me transition into this. This is very beautiful. So when he was found, when they sealed the case and they dropped all charges and he just had to pay the bill or whatever, the city of Chicago, the obviously, because they said that, I think it was the FBI and they did this without their knowledge. They found out the same day as everyone else, and the city was just so pissed off that this guy's a scumbag. He wasted all our time. So I was very amused to find this update today that it ain't over for Jussie Smolett, actually.
According to a report by CNN, Thursday is the deadline for actor Jussie Smolett to pay the $130,106 bill sent to him by the city of Chicago to cover the cost of the investigation into his claim that he was the victim of a possible hate crime. City spokesman Bill McCaffrey reportedly said, "The city feels this is a reasonable and legally justifiable amount to collect to help offset the costs of the investigation." CNN reports that on March 28th, the Empire actor received a letter from the city's corporation council stating that if he failed to pay in the next 7 days, that he could face prosecution. The letter was reportedly sent after prosecutors dropped 16 felony disorderly conduct charges against Smolett, who was accused of staging the attack on himself.
You see, this is a funny position he's in now, because if he pays this bill, then it looks like he's admitting guilt, but on face value, he probably should, just so we can get rid of this altogether. But I was surprised that the city was able to do this, because I thought, if you're going to drop the case and seal the case, how can you do this? But sealing the case does not mean he's innocent. And that's why they're saying they can do it. So it's kind of weird that they're still chasing him for money. The city's very upset, which I'm not surprised they're doing it because they can. But now everyone's waiting to see what he'll do, because if he pays it, it's saying that some kind of weird admission, because they don't want to let him get off scot-free. And it doesn't sound like a hell of a lot of money to him, and he might be able to help him with other stuff. There might be some foundation. No, he's innocent, we'll pay, whatever. But I'm just saying that people are waiting to see what his response to this. Again, he could ride that victim wave and say, you see, I was innocent and they're still trying to get me. But a lot of people are happy that the city are trying to get their money back, because he did waste a lot of resources. However you want to cut it, it's a sealed case with no resolution. So, what do you guys think?
I hate that nonsense about, you wasted the city's resources, like making it sound like the city of Chicago or the state of Illinois went to people's houses, knocking on the door, like, "Excuse me, Jussie Smollett is in court right now. Can you give us $5, please?" Like, that's not how it works.
I don't know why. Why do you think that's not the case? I mean, because he said he got done by two guys. They went around knocking houses. I'm sure there was a lot of legwork, or a lot of police officers that cost a lot of money on their wages. So
yeah, but these kind of things happen like all the time. Like,
sure,
criminal, they have budgets for these things.
But you know what? I think because this was like a race baiting situation, I think the city went the extra mile. It was very political. This was a very political subject. I think they did push this extra narrative that we have to go the extra mile because it's race, and then this thing. For me, I can see it wasting a lot of their money. And maybe at face value, this is just one of those things where they're just doing something to hit him in the back, just trying to sting him a little bit, because that's all they can do now to save face, because he did make a fool of them one way or another, and they're like, you know what, fuck you. We've got to do something to you. You can't just get away scot-free like this.
You know, either way, you're probably right. Police are pity, but this guy did so much damage by himself. It's just amazing how he gave this free trump card, pun intended, to fucking Republicans. Like, every time anybody is gonna get racially abused, racially discriminated, attacked, is gonna be the Jussie Smolett case. Like, is he lying? Did he do that to himself? Did he set himself on fire? Maybe he's a masochist.
Yeah.
I mean, that's exactly true as well. Like, that's the problem with these kind of cases. You basically are making it difficult for people who actually suffer those kind of things, either homophobic abuse or racist abuse, that kind of thing. So, but he is, you know, claiming wholeheartedly that, you know, he wouldn't be his mother's son if he did anything like that to damage the struggle. Blah,
he
blah,
laid
blah,
it
blah.
on thick, boy. He laid that shit on. What a speech! What a speech!
But either way, I think, you know, I think this is gonna go away. Like, it kind of resurfaced again, but it's gonna go away. Either he'll probably pay it, or like, even if he doesn't pay it, it's gonna go away.
You know, if the thing is, he could ride. If he doesn't pay it, he could ride that wave. I'm completely innocent. I'm not paying for nothing. Jussie Smollett's fighting against the. You know, I could see him riding. It would irritate the fuck out of me if he does that. It really would, because then he would just use it to further his cause. I'm completely innocent. They tried to do this to me, and now they're doing this. And you know, I could honestly, if you ask me, would he do that or not? Part of me says, if he's going to ride this wave, this I'm so just wave, he probably should just double down and go and say, I ain't paying shit. You know, if he really wants to be that hero of the people, hero of the LGBTQ unjustly prison, all that shit, he should double down and say, I ain't paying this shit. And they could take me to court again, get some more publicity, because all publicity is good publicity, right?
Well, considering he got himself beat up in like -5 degrees or something,
and kept the noose on.
Just to get a raise. Maybe he can't afford it. I don't think this guy's very good with money.
He won't have to. If he does his crusade, like I said before, he won't have to pay. He'll have all these organizations behind him.
Oh, I know that.
Injustice. So
people with too much free money just starting fundraising campaigns for this moron.
Let's move on. Let's see how this goes. Because again, this is still gonna go on. And if he decides to re-up on this, then it will be another story, you know. And then people will roll their eyes and. You know, I feel sorry for Jada Pinkett. She really put her neck out for him.
Yo, man.
There's a lot of people that put their neck out for him that he's made a fool of, and he just doubled down and continue this shit.
Wait, so just to clarify then, you guys both think that regardless of, you know, him getting acquitted or whatever, you guys think he's definitely did it, or he's definitely culpable?
I do.
Obvious. He's talking about, I wouldn't be my mother's son. You're not acting like a son. You're acting like a bitch.
You bitch.
The evidence is just so overwhelming. His attitude and just the, you know, and the more you hear about the details, the more he just sounds like he made this shit up.
You know who got it right day one? When everybody else was tweeting. No. When everybody else was tweeting, 50 Cent. 50 Cent was like, the Empire ratings are so bad because of Power. You need to pull this shit at Lee Daniels. That was like day one.
Yeah, that's worse than Joe Budden, but yeah.
Power does like poo all over Empire. So
I never knew that. I thought they would actually try to collaborate. Black people, boy. Anyway, let's move on.
No way.
Let's move on to the next topic. Situation. Nipsey Hussle, a young rapper, murdered. The trend continues. I hate to call it true. Still young.
That sounds bad. Yeah.
No.
Yeah, still young. Youngish.
You know what's funny? If we're talking about hip hop culture and murder, that is not young. So you're right, Stanley, to say that. But he was 33. The trend continues. You would think in our age, but boy. So let's play the little news clip about Nipsey Hussle and let's talk about it, because you know let's have a real conversation, because there is a very interesting conversation happening about Nipsey Hussle and his murder. And I think we can have a nice conversation about it. Simon's going to make a lot of fucking jokes. I can tell you that right now. Especially about the point I'm going to bring up. But let's hear their story and then we'll talk about what we know and how we feel about this whole murder. Rest in peace, Nipsey.
The music world is mourning Grammy-nominated rapper Nipsey Hussle, who was killed in a shooting in Los Angeles. Hussle was shot multiple times yesterday in a parking lot outside his clothing store. 2 other men who were also shot are in stable condition today. Police are looking for the suspect. Hussle rose to stardom with self-released mixtapes in the mid-2000s. His debut album, Victory Lap, was just nominated for Best Rap Album at the Grammys in February. The artist also spoke and rapped about his time with the notorious Crips gang as a teenager. The LAPD tweeted the rapper was scheduled to meet with police leaders today to discuss ways to stop gang violence. Fellow artists are all paying tribute to Hussle on social media. John Legend said he just saw Hussle on Thursday, tweeting, "He's utterly stunned that he's gone too soon." Hussle was 33 years old and the father of 2, and everybody that knew him said he was different than anybody they had met. Ava DuVernay calls him bright, genuine, forward-thinking. She'll remember the beauty he saw in his community. LeBron James, Steph Curry, and Rihanna says it doesn't make any sense. My spirit is shaken by this. His music was really, really life-changing, game-changing, and he was very well respected. So this is a huge loss in that community.
Let me start by saying I'm not even gonna pretend. I know when celebrities die, everyone jumps on the bandwagon, especially musicians. Everyone jumps on the bandwagon. Oh, we found this new guy. The same thing happened last year. We spoke about XXX Tenacion and the other guy, I can't remember as well. There was 2 murders last year. So I never knew anything about Nipsey Hussle, and I'll tell you why. Simon knows I'm kind of a hip-hop snob. I don't really listen to hip-hop past a certain age. His name, just hearing Nipsey Hussle, I thought he was another mumble rapper. Now that I know that he was a more serious rapper, he was apparently the real Tupac, putting money back in the community, talking a lot of sense, doing a lot of good, putting money back in the actual community. Hearing all that, it's like, wow, man, it's crazy. From what I know now, it's a sad state of affairs, and he seemed like a genuinely really cool guy and a decent artist. Still haven't listened to his music, so I can't say how I feel about him as a musical artist personally, but he seemed like an interesting guy. There's a deeper conversation I want to have about him dying, where he did specifically. But all I can say now is RIP. Didn't know him personally, so I don't really want to jump on the bandwagon too much. But from what I know now, seemed like an interesting guy. It's a shame. So what do you guys think? Do you guys know Nipsey Hussle, and what do you think of the situation?
Yeah, well, I knew of Nipsey Hussle. I didn't listen to him, but I knew of him, and he did a few songs with like some mainstream people. Not my flavor, but in terms of his murder, it's a tricky one, because with these kind of things, people just take away from it by doing all the virtue signaling and all that kind of thing. And
sure,
it goes without saying that that's going to happen. But it's always
already happening. He's a legend. He's the next Tupac. He was speaking. He was prophesizing his own death. There's a lot of
all that kind of stuff.
All the conspiracy stuff's out there. He was making a documentary.
He was so
That's
good.
why he died.
Yeah, why did it happen?
Yeah.
Oh, it doesn't make sense. It's frustrating when it happens. But nonetheless, him as a guy, all the things that he was apparently doing, it is sad in a sense compared to, no offense to some of the guys that we did hear about last year. That passed, was it? I can't remember which. What's
XXX Tenacion.
Tenacion.
I can't pronounce his damn name, man. Sorry.
It's
call him
okay.
Triple X.
There we go.
I can only hear Simon making a joke and said about
I was about to say, was that like the chocolate vanilla ice cream hairdo guy?
No, that's the other one.
That's what's his name again? Tekashi 6ix9?
Tekashi 6ix9.
Yeah. He's just in prison. He's not dead yet.
No. That's the period haircut guy. The guy that got shot, half of his hair was blonde, the other half was like brown, so chocolate vanilla.
No.
You know more. Childish Gambino did that music video where he melts like ice cream, Hot Like Summer. The animated one.
I know the video you're talking about. I don't know I still don't know the artist you're talking about.
The dude that got shot that had 2 colors of hair.
I still don't know him.
Well,
you're more in this culture than I am. Okay. So I have no idea.
That's the Triple X guy.
Oh, okay. Cool. So okay.
Well, I'm glad you did so much prep for the podcast. It's really good. It's like
I already said I don't follow hip hop past a certain year. I said that. You're
like a dad who lost his kids at the fucking
I'm not.
city fair.
That's a terrible.
I told you before. I don't use technology. I don't use this Apple stuff. Why did you leave the kids with me?
So when you said lost his kids, I went a different way. When you said lost, I thought, oh man, the Punisher? No, okay, I follow you now.
No. Well, here's the thing. This is what cracks me up about rappers. You have like golden underwear.
What cracks you up about death? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, exactly.
What cracks you up about death with rappers?
You have golden underwear. You have diamond toothbrushes, but you can't buy a bulletproof vest and invest in some security and maybe a bulletproof car. You know, it's like,
this is the conversation I want to have.
No-brainer.
This is the conversation I want to have because here's the thing, yeah, with hip hop culture. Oh no, you know, I jumped in there.
But you know, we always talk about this off mic. Like,
yeah, go on.
Tupac and Biggie, all that money got shot in a car that was the cheapest windows you can probably buy on the market.
And then Biggie died the exact same way.
Yeah, exactly. No bulletproof windows, no bulletproof car, no bulletproof vest. Had a big ass diamond chain though. I'm like, invest in your security. Every second song is like, I'm gonna die. I'm ready to die. They're gonna shoot me. I'm like,
well, that's the thing. They have to follow up. They have to. They try so hard to sort of portray that gangster image that I'm fearless. You know, nobody can touch me.
That's what I was about to say.
So
it's not hood if you're wearing a bulletproof vest.
Exactly. They see you when well, it is. So if they do it at like a concert,
yeah,
then it's like, oh man, he's ready for anything, man. This guy's so cool. But if he's like doing day-to-day stuff, like, you know, going to his shop, like this guy, then people would look down at him and like, man, this guy's a pussy.
All right, let's
but Jay-Z did that in a music video. The Streets is Watching.
Yeah.
That's the one where we had the bulletproof vest on.
Yeah.
And the motherfucker's alive. So there's a successful formula right there.
Well, let's get very specific before people that, oh, you guys don't know what happened. Listen, he had a clothing store out there in his own town. He was out there, and the guy who killed him was like a regular. And apparently, he kind of just been like, don't hang around the, just go get the fuck out of here. The guy came back. Like, this is some guy that's always around. The guy just came back and shot him very quickly. It wasn't even like it wasn't even expected. It was just a quick shooting.
I know, but you need to hire those XGI bodyguards that jump in front of the bullets. You know, that's XGI. Like, that's the secret. You hire a guy who's not your cousin. You don't pay him $100,000 to look after your Nintendo Switch whilst you're doing something. You actually hire professional security guards.
Well, that's another.
Well, apparently he had one, and apparently the security guard retired.
But he wasn't. He wasn't like
2 days later.
Now, to be fair, the report did say that 2 other people got shot too.
Yeah.
But they
survived, unfortunately. Well.
Man, you went wrong.
Hold on.
We know what you're saying.
Unfortunately, he was the only one that died. Let me finish.
That doesn't sound better.
Because they were aiming at him. The other 2 guys just got shot by accident.
No, unfortunately, that, you know, all 3 of them didn't survive. Jesus Christ, you guys are just jumping on me.
Pick your words, man.
I'm saying hire one guy that jumps in front of the bullets and hire another guy that shoots back.
Real life isn't the Matrix. It doesn't work like that. You know.
I didn't say stop the bullets. I'm like, jump in front of him. I don't expect them to like stop the bullet.
It wouldn't happen. And anyway, the guy wasn't in that culture anymore. He left that life a long time ago.
Did he though?
He was in the Crips, or he was in the Crips when he was young, but he wasn't doing that shit. He was way behind him.
I know, man, but to quote
way behind him.
Childish Gambino again, this is America. Anybody can buy a gun next to what, I mean, used to be next to a Toys R Us, but now Toys R Us is out of business. So probably you can buy a gun at the store that used to be Toys R Us. So whenever you get pissed off or you have a bad day, 5 minutes later, you can come back and shoot everybody in the building, and that's exactly what happened. So you need to factor that into your everyday life.
I honestly think he got killed by surprise, and I think if you had a vest, he would have just wore it, and then the guy would have killed him in the head. This was a guy that was going to kill him.
He did get shot in the head as well, actually.
Yeah, he was dead. He was going to die. So here's the conversation a lot of people are having now, because people are looking back on this like, you know what? Funny conversation heard on the Breakfast Club, heard on Whole 97. People like, this guy went out of his way. He's one of the rare rappers that went out of his way to bring his money back home. He bought the block, the whole block where he was. He bought the store. He was investing heavily in the city. And then people are like, you know what? A lot of these rappers, they make it and they leave. And then everyone's like, in the city, where you gone? Where you gone? Perfect example. Kanye West, one of the richest rappers in the whole game. Chicago, Chi-Town. The motherfucker don't live in Chi-Town. People are, where's Kanye? We're getting murdered here. Chirac came out. Why wasn't he on the soundtrack? Why wasn't he helping Spike Lee? You know, constant people that have made it. A lot of hip hoppers go, they leave. But if you look statistically, and this isn't just in hip hop, a lot of people that make it in business, when they come back home, the people that end up undoing them is their own peoples. People from locally, they come and kill you. This has happened so many times in hip hop as well. And I'm not talking about, this guy's pretty high level, to be honest. He put more money than a lot of other rappers do.
Sure.
But when people like, Nas, for example, he made it. Then they come back and like, they do music videos on the block. They always do that. Oh yeah, this is where I was from.
Oh yeah.
Queensbridge, but they're never really fucking there. But then some people that have come there, they've been attacked, they've been stabbed. And then now everyone's like, this is why the people that undo you the most when you make it are the people that are closest to you. The people that say they love you and it's, Queensbridge and whatever postcode, area code they're shouting, Detroit, Eminem, all that shit. You go there, they're trying to fucking kill you. You come back, we're going to kill you. Jealousy, envy. So people are like, you know what? If anything, this is reinforcing that shit. You know what? When you make it, get the fuck out of Dodge. Because the jealousy, the hate. And this guy was doing so much for his city that people were just like, the city stabbed him in the back more than anything. And if anything, this just detracts people, especially rappers. Like, you know what? This is why I feel justified not coming back to Chi-Town because of this money. You see what I'm saying? Now people are like, you know what? This guy put so much into the city, and for him to die, that's what stings the most. He went out of his way to be like, I'm putting everything into my city, and he died right outside his own store. Apparently his kids was there as well. If I was just out in the hills making my money, I'd probably still be alive. Come home, try to do something for my city, dead. It's fucked up, man. And the same goes for anyone. And this isn't just about rappers. You can say that about your family, your friends. When you make it, people that do you wrong are more than likely the ones that are closer to you. And it's a sad reality, especially but in the hip hop game, this happens a lot. So it's a conversation a lot of people are having now. I thought it was interesting. So
it is interesting and it is sad. But I'm just curious now. I just want to clarify this in terms of the guy that who they've like arrested.
Yeah,
you said he was a regular at the store. Is he a gangbanger?
I mean, a regular's a hangabout. Someone that's always in the area. Someone's like I don't mean like a regular customer. Someone that's just always,
someone that's around.
Yeah, it could have been a troublemaker he's always seen, but this guy was local. This is
because I heard that they had an argument or something beforehand.
Yeah, they did, and he told him to get the fuck off my property.
Right. Okay.
He was like, "What the fuck you doing?" Whether he's doing drugs or like this guy, and the guy felt disrespected.
Okay,
so he came back and killed him.
Yeah, people die over nothing every day.
Of course, they do,
especially in America.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, but. It's not like the whole city got together and lynched him. I mean, know it's just one guy. You can't really can't blame the city for it. But
it's true. But people, they feel the sting of it though because he was. You heard that. Sorry, I know I've been cutting a lot. I'll just say it's last part. You heard the most ironic thing was the next day he was going to talk to the police commissioner about the violent crime and he died.
I'm surprised you didn't play the conspiracy music on this because it's always like, this is my problem with it, that it's always the good ones, like people who are smart, forward thinking, invest in the community. Some dumb dipshit mumble rapper, guy looks like you need to take his lunch money, skinny ass motherfucker making too much money off of shit music. Spends it nothing but himself.
Soldier Boy, Excess Tentacion.
Whatever,
Boy, no, come on.
But
he's gone around back to his hood saying, "Come and get me, motherfucker."
Soldier Boy.
Yeah.
Okay.
But I'm like, they're still alive. It's always,
exactly.
We need an alchemy machine where we can send people
equivalent exchange for my alchemist anime.
Yeah, exactly. Like, let's get R. Kelly and just Jussie Smolett. Just put them all in the alchemy circle and let's get people back. Let's get Nipsey back.
You know his name now.
Yeah, exactly. It's like let's get every red state and get Michael back in exchange. It's like it's like if we have enough, we can get Whitney with it. Just put her in rehab a little bit.
I thought he was gonna say exchange Bobby for.
Oh yeah, but we can send Bobby there. Hey, maybe she'll come back clean. So it's like therapy for Bobby. That's the ones for you. Yeah. Well, he wants to be in Ghostbusters, and he was in Ghostbusters, so now he can be a ghost in the next one. Yeah,
jeez, I forgot about that.
Everybody did.
You guys, when you got any fun? Sorry, I kind of railroaded that. I had a lot to get off my chest on that one, but have you guys got any?
I just think, man, it's a vicious circle, and things like this are always gonna happen because that particular area, that community is broken. Like that particular community, especially, and the people who make it to that level of status through music make it to that level of status for a reason.
Yeah.
You know, because of their past and stuff like that, and because of the circles that they mix in. So they're always going to be in danger. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting involved with your community from a distance. Like,
And
most
you don't
do.
have to.
Skype, motherfucker.
Well, you got phones, you got WhatsApp voice, video call. Like, seriously.
And that's
you
what
don't
the
need
community's saying now.
to
That's what your
go.
community's saying. Like, yeah, Kanye's like, I don't. Kanye came out because they got a lot of criticism of Kanye right now. Kanye said, you know how much I donate to, and he did. He's donated a lot of money, but just from afar. And people, you know, the city will be like, it's easy to donate money. You're making millions. Why don't you come down here and through the, you know, that's what they want. I know it's dumb. That's what they want. They want to see you.
It's a losing
'cause you ain't real.
situation.
It is.
It's a lose because
Yeah.
if you're not giving enough, then like, wait, if you're giving, then you're not making an appearance. If you're not making an appearance, you're not giving enough.
Yeah.
If you're doing both, you get shot.
Yeah.
Like, you know, what can they really do?
So once
I'm
again,
yet to see an artist that's getting it right. That's
Yeah.
actually doing, you know, to be honest, no, there are, I tell you the artists that get it right. The ones that are stinking rich and just go under the radar. Someone like Jay-Z, for example.
I was just about
You know?
yeah.
Because he's an example, you know. He's from the bottom, and but every year you're
doing
like,
the drink now. Sorry for about it. Now I'm here on my own.
You know that guy's gonna come out with like his own version of the Trump Foundation, like the Jay-Z Foundation. It turns out he was been giving money to himself all these years. Because you know Jay-Z's smart like that. He was always the smartest business
Speaking
guy.
of which, Beyonce just came out saying that she's got a new partnership with Adidas today.
Of course,
know.
yeah. Of
oh
course
really?
she did.
Yeah.
Okay.
So the moral of the story is, if you're a selfish asshole that never goes back home, you'll live.
Yeah.
Other than that, that's it. But you know who doesn't get shot? Barack Obama. Why? Security. Just need to get security, man.
I don't know if I should call this episode "Use PayPal."
Skype.
Nah. Anyway, all right. that was a trending topics right off the top of the bat. So you know what, this is going to be a shorter show when it comes to content, but we got a hell of a lot of movie trailers to talk about. We got 6 movie trailers. Let me just say this. We haven't spoken about any of the Avengers Endgame trailers. We just spoken about them, and the last one, they revealed too much. Even though the Russo brothers said that, do not worry, we've been putting extra stuff out there, then I'm just not going to talk about it. The movie's out in less than a month. So let's just all we're probably going to have the flipping Endgame podcast when it comes out. So we're not going to talk about the Avengers trailer. We're going to move on to talk about every other trailer though. And there's some fun ones. There's some meme ones. There's some silly ones. We're going to start off with one called Fast Colors, which stars Gugu Mbatha-Raw. That's her name. I know.
Yeah, I know. You said it was such panache.
It always gets a chuckle out of everyone. I love her. She was in the last, what do we call it? The Cloverfield movie everyone seemed to hate, the Netflix one, which was whatever. She was in Belle, the movie about anyway, she's been in a lot of things, but yeah, she's doing this superhero kind of movie. Let's play the trailer, which is, again, just short clips. We'll talk about what we think about the whole trailer, and then we'll talk about what we could possibly watch or not.
The world's gonna die. I can feel it coming. And I think about Ruth. How does she survive out there on her own, as broken as she is?
I'm keeping it short. That was Fast Colors. We saw the whole trailer, just a bit of it. Simon Rad, what do you think of Fast Colors with Gugu Mbatha-Raw?
I think you need to confess that you might have an unhealthy attraction to light-skinned women that makes you blind to maybe some of the projects they pick that look absolutely boring.
You know what? She had a movie called Beyond the Stars. Great romance movie where she was a pop star. And what's that woman?
Oh, that's a fucking great movie.
Oh, you've seen that movie?
All right. You brought me around. All right.
Yeah. Raven loves that movie too. I know she's like, yeah, tell him.
Okay. It's a good movie. You know what? Speaking of Raven, don't show her this trailer. I won't hear the end of it.
Before she even hears this podcast, I will send her
Thank you.
the voice, the trailer link on the WhatsApp. Yeah.
I mean, it looks cool, but here's the thing. I think Netflix realized, set the movie somewhere in the middle of nowhere because it's gonna be cheap. Because you can have a lot of scenes of people running around and doing nothing, and that's the half of the movie looks like. The other half looks cool.
It's true.
Where you have like they're witches and they have like powers. It's like budget X-Men basically with like female empowerment
with
mixed
black
in.
girls.
But
Yeah.
the world's ending. Stanley, what do you think? They said the world's ending.
Yeah,
too.
I mean, I couldn't exactly gauge what exactly was happening in that world.
Yeah.
But yeah, essentially, it's to do with some kind of sisterhood or family of women, a matriarchal family, and a girl that has psychic abilities. I have no idea what's going on in the story, but visually, it looks very attractive, very appealing. I wasn't too keen about the shaking. There were a few scenes where all this shaking stuff was happening. I'm not sure what that is adding to the movie or what that's supposed to mean.
Mm-hmm.
But it looks a little boring. There's people running around and whatnot. But I think the actresses involved and the cast might hold it up. We'll see.
You know, when I saw the trailer, it reminded me of the spirit of that movie. If me and Simon spoke about another podcast, Midnight Special.
That was a good movie, but please clarify: is this on Netflix or is this a theatrical release?
You know what? I think this was a theatrical release movie. I don't think this was a Netflix.
Okay, because I was about to say like Stanley's right, but that description is like every Netflix movie I was like, like great actors and a great concept, and the movie's boring as hell. I mean, the I.O., which is the last two people on Earth, boring.
Wow, is that what it's about? I couldn't even. I watched one episode. I was like, my eyes just rolling back in my head. So.
No, the movie. There's a
not the AO, not the A.
OA or
the
AOA. It's like whatever, man. Like two letters next to each other.
Yeah.
Then you had Annihilation. Want to annihilate the.
That was a great movie. That was a great. I love that movie.
That was a bit boring, man.
It was very slow and dry.
Very, yeah.
What is it with you and female with movies? That was a female-driven cast. Great movie, man. Come on.
I like female-driven movies as long as it's not.
I thought you liked Tessa Thompson. She was in that.
Yeah, but did you forget the part that you said 5 minutes ago was boring and dry? Those aren't two things a movie should be. It's like, it was a great film. It was boring and dry.
No, that was you guys. I just took you guys' words. I find it atmospheric.
Yeah,
I was like, fucking hipster.
Because you watched it over 3 weeks in 10-minute parts. Yeah, that it's very entertaining.
That is not true. But let's move on. Honestly, I think it looks okay. If I'm being honest, it could work, could not. If it was on Netflix, I'd be a lot more happier. Would I go to the theater to see it? No, but you know, let's see what happens when it does come on Netflix or stream, because that's when I'll check it out, and that's me being honest. But I'm happy for Gugu Mbatha-Raw, a good piece for her. I know her mother, actress in the movie, is someone of note as well, so I can't remember her name. Anyway, let's move on to the next trailer. This was one of the most, people were very, very, very excited for this movie trailer. Comedy, zombie movie called Dead Won't Die. Funny name. Let's have a listen and let's talk about what we thought about it.
In this peaceful town, on these quiet streets, something terrifying, something horrifying is coming.
Excuse me, we're closed. Get away from me!
What the hell was it? A wild animal? This is really awful. Maybe the worst thing I've ever seen.
What was it, wild animals?
So what are you thinking? I'm thinking zombies. What? You know, the undead. Ghouls.
You know, I'm so glad Star Wars hasn't even damaged Adam Driver's career, because I think he's a fucking phenomenal actor.
He is, yeah.
Seeing him with Bill Murray is phenomenal. This
and
trailer looks
Donald
fun.
Glover as well. Donald Glover's in the movie.
Damn, I didn't even notice. This looks great. What do you guys think?
I think it looks very funny. I mean, it's refreshing. I haven't seen this kind of self-aware horror movie since I don't know,
Zombieland
last week. Okay, it's like it's not the most original concept, but
Sure.
but Shaun of the Dead was fucking funny, and they have a great cast here. I think the trailer already made you laugh. So unless they pulled, let's put the best bits in the trailer, which they do sometimes, it's gonna be fun. When is it coming out? Is it coming out for Halloween?
I never saw
It would be perfect for Halloween.
Yeah,
it would be.
Put it out for Halloween, then yeah.
It looks like a Coen Brothers movie as well. The comedy between Bill Murray and Adam Driver. So like they got some good chemistry there. Dry.
But it ain't, so it doesn't matter.
Okay. Are you not a Coen Brothers fan, by the way?
I am. I never really like classified them. They're a genre, but I wasn't like, oh, I need to see the next movie they do. But most of their films I really like.
Cool.
I thought it was a really funny trailer. Out of all the ones we saw today, it had the most appeal for me, like the one that I'll go to the movies to watch.
Okay.
So,
yeah. It looks like a crowd pleaser. I have to say, this one looks like a crowd pleaser. Let's move on to the next trailer, which has given Netflix a hell of a lot of flack. A lot of people are calling this a Quiet Place Bird Box Silence trailer. So let's have a quick listen.
Something's happening. We can't stay here. Dad.
This is shameless, man. This movie is called Silence. When I saw the trailer, I just said, you know what, man, Netflix, you should be fucking ashamed of yourself. Honestly, for greenlighting this. It's just, you know, in Hollywood, they just carbon copy, hey, this movie's successful, let's do it again. For the last 2 years, I swear they've made this movie 4 times in the last 2 years.
people go and watch it. That's the thing. Like,
we just watched Bird Box. Literally less than 6 months ago, right?
But that was a huge hit, though. But I know what you mean. But hey, here's the thing: when the trailer started, and I saw Stanley Tucci with his family and trapped in the car with the windows broken, I was like, "What kind of movie is this? Is this it looks like just a white family trapped in a black neighborhood." it's like a reverse Get Out, like Get Home. They're just trying to get back into.
You know what? I usually give you a beef for that. I'm gonna give you a round of applause for that one. You know what? That could have been a good angle for this movie. I'm telling you.
Well,
horror movie where. Oh my God. So Jordan Peele could have made a reverse Get Out.
That would work actually.
Yeah.
If Jordan Peele did it, though.
Yeah. This movie doesn't look that creative. But I mean, like, how many times can you do this thing where if you talk, if you see, you're gonna die? I'm waiting.
Quiet.
Yeah, I'm waiting for a movie where it's smell based. Like if you fart, you die. Like like the alien can smell your farts and just chasing it down. Like I don't like. To me, it like
that sounds like Marlon Wayne.
Yeah.
Don't put that
and he's on Netflix. You know, it's like Black Silence.
Man, that you know what? I really do think you've just given it is actually becoming its own fucking subgenre, and that's what they do. They take the subgenre and just kind of. I wish they just made those movies actually funny. But I'm just going on another rant now. Let's move on. What a shameful trailer, Netflix. So, last time on the podcast, we had to William Hicks, a healthcare professional, and I think they made a movie just for him. This movie's getting a lot of flack. It's actually just called William. William, we dedicate this to you. And if you hear the plot of the movie, it might even be, you know, an origin story for William Hicks.
Fossilized remains of a human-like creature were first discovered in the Neander Valley, hence the name Neanderthal.
Imagine bringing to life our closest cousin.
We start by removing the nuclear DNA and then replace it with DNA from the Williams specimen.
Who's gonna carry the embryo?
I will.
Baby boy. Congratulations, Mom and Dad.
Oh my God, man. Let me just paint the picture for those of you who might not have caught what this movie's about, okay? So this movie's about I don't know if they're archaeologists or scientists or whatever. They find fossiled remains of one of our oldest ancestors, the Neanderthal, which is another humanoid type being that was on the earth. And they decide, you know what? Let's play God. Let's extract some genes from this Neanderthal and let's make one. Let's put one in a woman and grow a Neanderthal. And this lovely movie is about a Neanderthal that grows up and wants to fit in with the rest of the humans.
Neanderthal in high school.
Neanderthal in high school. And it's all about feeling good and fitting in. Simon, did this movie not melt your stone cold heart?
To be honest with you, I'm a bit puzzled because didn't 60 million Neanderthals vote for Trump? I was like,
this gotta be here or not, guys.
it's like
that was good.
Yeah, do we have to make one? I thought we already had plenty. I don't know. It just looks like to me. I said this off mic, like a Twilight version of the Elephant Man. Like, oh, he's he's fucked up, but he's still fuckable. So it's like it's still a movie. There's still like an angle there to make him likable without actual like acting and real drama and like a real conflict. Because in the movie, he gets by fine. He's probably smarter than 70% of the human population. I mean, most people you have to put on microwave popcorn, don't eat the packaging. So this guy didn't strike me as that dumb. I met dumber people.
Yeah.
Outside of that, I don't know, man. It's like it's one of those movies like how in Step Up they take black culture and replace it with pretty white people. Now they take black suffering and replace it with a Neanderthal. I mean,
wow.
It's like
that sounds like an op-ed by a black guy,
Literally.
Stanley, what do you think of this?
This movie, I think I'm starting to come to terms with the fact that I just can't be bothered with touchy-feely movies. Like if it's about some kids in high school, or it's about this guy or this girl had such a hard time, but they're getting over their issues and they're coming out. I just don't care. I just want to watch a movie that's gonna grip me because of the action or because of the story or or because it's funny. Like this, it wasn't really. It's kind of unique in the premise. The whole even actually, I'll take that back. It's not that unique. It's a fish out of water story. And they did it in the most typical setting, which is like a high school or a college or whatever. So
about a year ago, Julia Roberts and Owen Wilson did a movie about this kid who was severely disfigured.
How?
He was born. She gave birth to a severely disfigured kid.
Okay.
That always wore a mask, and they sent him to school. And he has to integrate with the children, and it was very heartwarming, very much in the vein of this movie. So these movies come along where it's like, we get over our prejudices, there's more than skin deep, da-da-da. So you've seen this movie 1,000 times. So why did I even bother bring this into the podcast? Because, this movie is done every year on the Lifetime channel. There's lower budget. Why? This movie's been mean to hell because the sci-fi element, because they're like, okay, we've done this a million times. Let's make it a bit sci-fi. But bringing in the Neanderthal into our modern age. But because we're all humans and we got to better ourselves, let's use this Neanderthal as a talking point to reflect on our own weaknesses and biases.
I just think this is a very inspirational movie that any stupid concept you can get funding for these days. Like if you want to make a movie, this is really the time. Anything you shit out, somebody's going to buy it.
No, I wasn't trying to praise the movie when I just went on that spiel. I think it's fucking pathetic. I think that they're reaching so hard to prove the same point again. Now they're basically getting you might as well get an alien, put him here and be like, why can't the alien fit in?
But
why can't the alien make friends?
Well.
Yeah, the movie's called E.T. It's one of the highest grossing movies of all time.
He didn't go to high school though. He wasn't pushed for being a bully. Come on, Simon. This is not the same. Why can't you treat the alien with some respect? Alien lives matter.
So you want E.T. 2 when he comes back with a machine gun and shoots up the school? It's like he starts.
Man, you just have to take it to that dark place.
He puts the finger in the trigger and just like starts shooting like nuclear bullets and shit. Like he would E.T. Revenge.
Can you imagine if they went there with this Neanderthal movie? That would have been that would have been frankly more interesting because what they tried to do with it is like boring.
He just starts throwing boulders at people. Comes like riding a dinosaur.
It's a massive catapult.
They need to do like a Avengers type shared universe where they bring back all the cavemen and then they have to team up to fight like a Tyrannosaurus Rex or something, and then humanity learns we need heroes.
Guys, let's just do the takeaway from this movie right now. Next time you go to work and you see a Neanderthal, treat them with the same respect you to treat your fellow brother, okay? We haven't learned that lesson a million times, but it's a Neanderthal now, so it's a new level. It's 2019, Simon. Neanderthal lives matter. Let's move on to the next trailer.
By the way, I know it's a Neanderthal, but you can shave your eyebrows, okay?
Yeah. But
do you know what? Let me do this sound for you, Stanley.
Triggered.
I'm triggered by that. All right, that's prejudice. So
you have bushy eyebrows. Okay.
That's how they are. Bushy eyebrows, fat nose. That is prejudice. You have a problem. You need to watch this movie. Obviously.
I definitely don't.
Okay. Let's move on to the next trailer. We're near the end now. This is called Warrior. Just Warrior.
He's very well trained. I thought I'd bring him here first.
Things are changing, man. It's like the ground is shifting under our feet.
It's a sad day for our city, and our citizens cannot walk the streets without fear from a foreign criminal element.
You're halfway now.
God damn. You know, I like the tagline for this is a TV series trailer just called Warrior, and it says, "It's not China, it's Chinatown."
You sounded like Idris Elba there.
What did you guys think of this action-packed trailer that was, you know, mostly in English for all these Asian actors, which is kind of racist? But no, it's Chinatown. It's Chinatown, not China.
I made a comment when we watched it, which is like, it's like, yeah, kung fu movie or martial arts movie meets Western, like in terms of the way they were dressed and whatnot. So it says it's based on the writings of Bruce Lee.
Yeah.
It's definitely got potential. It's got legs, but nothing in particular was calling out to me.
Okay,
but yeah, I think it's got potential. We'll see. Maybe trailer 2 will be doing more justice.
All right. Well, Simon, what do you think of Warrior? Do you like this kung fu stuff?
Warrior.
Asian people yelling. That's what I think. That was the whole trailer. I mean, this is very stereotypical.
Simon, there was a lot of action there coming.
That's
what you ignored.
Bruce Lee's.
I heard the yelling. I didn't see any action.
Based on Bruce Lee's writings, what does that even mean?
What does that mean?
It's not a script or a concept.
Guys,
it's like they found a note somewhere in his house that said,
"What is wrong with you?"
Asian people yelling in Chinatown, and they made it into a
They're
movie.
like, yes, this is a movie gold, right?
Like,
no, but that seriously is a massive cash grab.
Wait, I got the right sound. Simon said, "What is this?" I'll tell you what this means.
Here comes the money.
Here comes the money.
That's it. If anything, Bruce Lee's gonna print some money. Okay.
I don't know, man. I mean, Bruce Lee, he's one of those actors that they used footage from his actual funeral and sequels to his post-mortem movies.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It looks unoriginal. There's nothing there. It looks like Gangs of New York.
Yeah.
But I'll give it this. You know, if the actual actors are martial artists, it could look badass.
Yeah.
But, you know, TV shows, they have a good pilot, and then they have 4 episodes of the hero searching for himself, 1 episode where he gets injured and has a flashback, another episode where the female character does something useful, and then the season finale is good.
You know the blueprint. So yeah, we'll see. I'll check out an episode. But we're not going to play this trailer, but I think a week or the last 2 episodes ago, we spoke about the Ip Man legacy or the Ip Man movie. We spoke about the Ip Man or whatever. Now, this week, they just released the official Ip Man 4, the actual last sequel with the original Donnie Yen. Donnie Yen, right?
Yeah.
Donnie Yen, yep.
Yeah. They've actually released an official 4th sequel, and I think it's coming to America. Finally,
he's going to America.
Yeah, and I think it's the Ip Man series is meant to be based on real life.
The man's
but they keep stretching it.
The man's 130 years old. It's about time he made it to America. Like, how many is the secret story of Bruce Lee's master? And it's been 15 years. I mean, how many movies can you make about before he did something that's memorable? It's like,
yeah. I mean, the last one, Ip Man 3, was really good. It was really heartfelt. Was Tyson in that one? I think Tyson was in that one as well. I'll watch this one. Action was phenomenal. The action's always phenomenal. So, and it says the final one, but anime and manga, they do that all the fucking time.
But they
then they do Reborn.
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Then they're gonna start making movies about his master.
Yeah. They could, and they would. So they already got the spin-off we just spoke about. They got a spin-off ready. So I was just like, what? Anyway. So yeah, check out Warrior and Ip Man 4. Those are 2 coming out. And let's get on to the final trailer, the one everyone's talking about. It even surprisingly kind of eclipsed Avengers, and that is DC's The Joker movie with Joaquin Phoenix.
My mother always tells me to smile and put on a happy face. She told me I had a purpose to bring laughter and joy to the world. Is it just me? Or is it getting crazier out there?
Smile.
Now, Simon Rad is the official Batman fanboy, so we're going to come to him last.
Oh, really? Am I?
You are. We're going to come to you last. Stanley.
Yes.
What did you think of the Joker trailer? Did you, before even that, did
No.
you know about the production of this movie? Anything beforehand?
Yes, yeah. I heard
so-
that it's in production. I thought he was going to ask me about like his origin story, because that's the first thing that came to my mind when I saw this. I was like, this is the first time I've seen like a Marvel or DC trailer where I actually want to understand like where they're getting, because they usually mix and match origin stories or comics.
In what sense? What do you mean?
Like, you know how they do comic superhero movies, and they'll pick storylines from different comics or different.
I got you.
Yeah, so that's what came to me, because as far as
you're saying they're non-sequential. When they usually do them, they're not really straight from the beginning stories. They can just pick a story.
Exactly,
Yeah,
and that's fine.
Yeah.
But with this one, I was really intrigued because, like,
you're
guys
seeing the birth of something.
Exactly,
Gotcha.
yeah. Is that I was thinking, is it staying true to what actually happened, or are they just doing it for the sake of like making the movie?
I'm gonna let Simon talk to you about that, because already he can say a lot about that. So. But you like what you
but in terms of the trailer, yeah, it looks really good. It's got Oscar bait all over it.
That's what a lot of people are saying, you know. So I'm gonna jump to Simon right
Even
now.
the way just the way he was like contorting his body in the trailer, I was like, how is he doing that, man?
Very method.
Like, a lot of method acting going on.
We've got a proper DC. Simon is a DC lover and hater, and we've spoke about DC for so many hours.
I just like good movies. I don't know why you prep it up to be that complicated. Just
okay.
Just don't
You're gonna find out why when he starts talking.
JJ looks so confident right now.
I'm gonna let Simon start talking.
You really are on this mood this week where you're not gonna work, you're not gonna edit, you're not gonna talk. It's just like just take it away. You're the aficionado. But here's the thing: if this movie came out like 25 years ago, it would be interesting. But
in 1992 or something?
No, I'm saying. They overcapitalize on the Joker. They have him on Gotham now. Yeah. They have him in every video game. They have him in almost every bit of animation. Like
you can say the same for fucking Batman, by the way. But
exactly. But yeah, exactly. He's the villain in every Batman cartoon, straight to DVD animated film. They had the Japanese one where he was
the ninja one.
He was a ninja and a samurai. I mean,
a samurai. Yeah.
What I liked about it versus every other DC project that came out, that this looks like a quality film, but it's disconnected from everything. Isn't the hook that he's not the Joker character, but a guy who's kind of going through what we think of could be a Joker origin story, but it's not confirmed. It's
exactly.
It's like
that's exactly what I was getting from it. Yeah,
that's kind of it. Don't think of this as connected tissue.
The actual
think
Batman
of this as a story about a man that could,
It reminded me of the movie Logan. Like the Logan that kind of sits in the continuity, but it doesn't have to. It's sort of just a one-off
kind of thing. Yeah.
It reminded me of the Scorsese film with De Niro, King of Comedy.
Yeah,
and De Niro was in the movie. So
and Scorsese's a producer.
Scorsese's a producer, so they basically know that they're remaking an old movie and putting the Joker on it.
Yeah,
but that's a great film, and this looks very promising because they make him very much a likable character now. How far you can take that, because that's going to be the breaking point of the movie, where at some point this guy starts killing people.
Does it help you to know this is a hard R movie, by the way?
Yeah, I guess, because it's Oscar bait, isn't it? So they're going to, even though with the Joaquin Phoenix's body, they already showing it very gruesome and like he's anorexic or has some, he's like deformed almost. So they're not holding anything back, but DC always had this R rating. They were flirting with the R rating, right?
Yeah.
When this movie got greenlit, they were still like, oh, we're the serious company. We're not going to do these comedies like Marvel.
That's after they went back and they re-released Batman vs. Superman and Suicide Squad with R's, and they put in blood. They just made it more violent, and Killing Joke, same thing, the animated movie, they made it R as well with the blood in that. So
I mean, my question to you guys is, do we need a dedicated movie to somebody who works best as a villain? And in a movie, I mean, you could say that, okay, he always takes the spotlight in a Batman movie away from Batman, but that's the whole point of the character.
The Joker, I think, is a very interesting character, and the thing, as soon as I saw it, I said, you know what? All that stuff about, Jack Nicholson's the best, or, I can't remember the
Heath Ledger.
Heath Ledger's the best, and all this. I think the comparison can stop after tattoo gangster Joker came
Florida
along.
Joker.
Florida Joker came along.
Budget Joker.
It kind of broke the kind of expectation. And after I see this, I think the Joker is a very interpretive character. In the comics right now, they have this theory about there's 3 Jokers. And it kind of highlights the best eras of the Joker. The one in the beginning one, the Heath Ledger one, and the comics one. And I feel like DC are being a lot more creative. Look, I told you, Simon, the trailer looks good to me. I can't stand Batman. I'm sick of the mythos. They do the same thing over and over again. And usually, the thing with the Joker, he's so ambiguous anyway. I don't mind them doing this because seeing a story about a character called the Joker, again, don't know if it's him. I don't give a fuck about continuity. I don't really think it exists because people say this is canon. This is canon. They keep on changing it. They can change it at a whim. Canon is when the company decides it's canon. That's the bottom line. So if you go with that theory going in, canon's pointless, right? So when I see this movie, as you said in the very beginning, it's just a good movie. It could just be a good movie. Joaquin Phoenix is a phenomenal actor. It's done some of my favorite movies. And he said himself, I don't give a fuck about superhero movies or movies at all.
They hired the right guy then for that.
And he just said, the Joker is a good character to me.
Yeah,
I don't want to do anything to touch anything like this. It's not about the money. I just want something.
That's a bit of a cheat though, because he's a good character because of what actors did with it, who took it seriously in its own context.
Well, that's not a cheat. He saw the vision and he saw that I want to add to that. So I don't think that's cheating per se.
But here's the thing, like the reason why the Tim Burton movie worked, like Tim Burton always says in every single interview that he needed to get Jack Nicholson first to give the project credibility.
Okay.
So Jack Nicholson had the vision and was like, we can take this further. But that's all in the context of we're making a Batman film and we need to have a villain who's entertaining, who's threatening, who adds that credibility. Again, when Christopher Nolan was like, I'm going to make a grounded movie that's realistic, Heath Ledger came in and said, I'm going to sell you on the Joker without having to fall into a pool of acid and do all the elaborate stuff. I'm just going to have a scar and wear makeup. And he sold everybody on it. Like people want that Joker to be like the main version of the Joker from that point on. This movie takes a lot of shortcuts. They're cutting out the whole superhero element. They're cutting out Batman. They're not even saying if it's real. I just think like, why, as an audience member, you're watching a Joker movie just because of the name. It might end up being a good movie because of the performance, but there's no real point to the movie. What's the story here that, people are assholes to this person, and at some point he's gonna snap because the world is crazy. I mean, I can get that from a Joker monologue. It's like it's very conflicting because it looks like a decent film. Like it looks like the directing or the direction is good. Cinematography is good. I like the music in the trailer. You mentioned great casting.
Yeah.
But the story is just like, here's what the Joker could look like in a movie that would be about him, or maybe not. Or maybe yes, but it's still good and you still watch it, but it might get a sequel, but we don't want to make a sequel. And I'm like, why is so much red tape about a film? If it was just a non-connected, non-franchise movie, it would just have a message, a story, a couple of opinions, and then a connective tissue that tells the narrative.
Again, it's still in a comic book universe just for the company that they're coming from. So the trappings you mentioned, it's just going to be there inherently. Again, the movie could have been not called Joker. It could have been a movie about a demented comedian. And it could, we look at it, but this is just like a good movie with Joaquin Phoenix. That could have been the case.
But it's called The King of Comedy with Robert De Niro. So it's like...
Yeah, a movie that's 30 years old. So, I mean, why not update it? So, look, I think it looks like a very good movie. And like you said, whether it has a Joker name on it or not, it doesn't make a difference that much, and it isn't connected to Batman. So it is feel like, even if this movie is great, you're gonna feel like, wow, I wish I could see this guy go up against Batman. That's a missed opportunity. That's not gonna happen. It's not.
Yeah, but I think you're making a lot of good points, guys, because I think a lot of people, there is a lot of buzz and excitement about it, but I think when trailer 2 comes out, trailer 3 comes out, you're gonna see it start to die down when people start to realize, actually, this hasn't got anything to do with Batman. There's not going to be any explosions. There might be 1 or 2 violent or gory bits, but mostly it's going to be this kind of set piece kind of movie where there's lots of like good imagery.
But there's one really good thing that could come out of this. It could, again, DC, and apparently Shazam's a fantastic movie, apparently, it could change their thinking in their storytelling with these characters. So, you know, I know Gotham was good for season 1. I was surprised because just the concept was ridiculous to me. But when I watched it, it was very grounded, just like this. Gotham was a character, just like in this movie. I like the fact that Gotham creates its villains. It's a horrible place, and it creates the monsters that it's created. Batman is the hero of the city, and he's all that other bullshit. But, you know, it gets these villains as well, which is awesome. And I just want DC as an empire to look at how they create movies with characters and move forward with other characters in the same kind of thought, with creativity and good direction. That's my overall theme. To be honest with you, from this movie, even if it's really good, if they try to keep using this character or this actor, it could go sideways. My thought is, you did Joker well, use the same thought process with your other IPs, because tons of characters they haven't even fucking touched. Forget about Suicide Squad. There's a lot of characters, you know, in the DC universe that they haven't even touched that they can.
And that's why the movie kind of runs on low steam for me, because we just saw the Joker with Jared Leto, which was a crime against humanity, probably the greatest crime committed by the Joker ever. You know?
My existence is a crime.
It's like,
I was born a crime.
Hey, that's the name of Trevor Noah's book, by the way.
And
I know.
And of course, you have him on Gotham now, which was supposed to be all about just Gotham PD going up against mid-tier villains, no Batman, and now it's a Batman show.
They couldn't resist.
It's like Smallville after season 4.
And that's what we're talking about. We don't want to happen to this kind of thing, which, you know, and
if there are so many comparisons and there's not enough time between releases, there's no excitement. Like, if this was right after Heath Ledger, there would be genuine buzz of, okay, what's he gonna do? Where is he gonna take it? And maybe taking the Joker out of the rest of the story, the continuity, gives the movie more breathing room to flesh out this character and do more with him. But because they already did so much stuff, by stuff I mean shit, you know, and everybody's talking about, oh, they can reboot with Flashpoint, they can just forget about it, they can do spin-offs. It's like, this movie has absolutely no consequence. There's no consequence to anything. They could just do some reshoots to a post-credit scene that ties it all together.
Please don't.
Or they could do the exact opposite and said, this movie's a one-off. And go crazy at the end where he's the hero or something like that. I'm like, you know, there's no... Usually with a licensed property, you do an interpretation of something and you follow the rules, and that's what inspires you to move forward. If you just take the name and you take what other actors have done and said, oh, I want to take a spin at that and then do my own thing and go nuts, I'm like, well, I'm glad I can, you know, fund your hobby. You're welcome.
Well, look, DC do have a Elseworlds imprint. I don't think they put this under that. It might have made me just feel like, great, it's a one-off, I could just move on off this. But I'm just looking at this in a much wider scale as a cast against a whole. This does well for them. They might just look at the whole landscape of what they're doing. Like, you know what? Let's just take a different route. Marvel got their connective tissue. They've done it. It works. They've won that battle. We've lost. Let's deal with characters and see what we can do with directors. That's what we thought they were going to do. They didn't. Zack Snyder, I like what he's done now because he ruined...
He ruined himself.
He ruined the characters that I was sick and tired of. He ruined Batman. He ruined Superman. And the only thing he didn't ruin was he just handpicked Gal Gadot for Wonder Woman. That's doing well because obviously he ain't touching that with Patty Jenkins.
He did give it his best try though, by having her blackmailed by a photo. That's really female empowerment at its best. She Instagram shamed her straight up.
Let's see how it goes. Definitely gonna watch this one. Yeah, you know, DC are you know, they're coming up, so let's see how it goes. So we're gonna move on, and you know, I know Stanley's gonna love this. He's just gonna Cheshire Cat smile. Cat face is gonna be on my back. It's time for a news story, a very political one. It's been a long time, Stanley.
Oh, it's been a while. At
It's
least
been a while.
You tried for a while.
I gotta bring him back. Okay. So Khashoggi. The Khashoggi, and I really want to put a pin on it with this story because the Khashoggi situation. Khashoggi, sorry.
Who? Jamal Khashoggi. The
journalist who got murdered in Turkey.
Yes.
By the consulate, and then they said they didn't do it, and then Trump was like they didn't do it, and
you don't remember this story from last year?
Nah, I think I spent too much time on Instagram watching Brazilian cake videos.
Okay.
That's
we know what cake
great
is.
euphemism there.
Yeah. So anyway,
hey, I like my chocolate cakes, and then I like my chocolate cakes.
That's okay. we got that, Simon. So anyway, look, I went high and low. I tried to avoid using 2-minute clip, Philip DeFranco, there's been an update on the Khashoggi situation, and we'll talk about it afterwards. Simon doesn't know about it makes it even easier because Simon will go crazy on this one. So let's have a listen.
And the last time we really dug into this was back in November when we saw two huge updates to the story. First, the Saudi government announced that they had 21 people in custody, that they'd indicted 11 people involved in Khashoggi's killing, and that they were seeking the death penalty for 5 of those people. And soon after, the United States announced that it was placing sanctions on 17 individuals involved in Khashoggi's killing. And secondly, we saw multiple reports that a CIA investigation into the murder concluded that MBS had in fact ordered Khashoggi's killing. And reportedly, the CIA came to this conclusion based on intercepted communications, but they had no direct evidence implicating MBS. And in response to this, we saw Donald Trump outright deny the CIA's findings and say he believed MBS.
What if the Crown Prince, speaking to you, the President of the United States, directly lied to you about
Well, he told me that he had nothing to do with it. He told me that, I would say, maybe 5 times at different points.
But what if he's lying?
As recently as a few days ago.
Do you just live with it because you need him?
Well, will anybody really know? All right, will anybody really know? But he did have certainly people that were reasonably close to him that were probably involved. You saw we put on very heavy sanctions, massive sanctions on a large group of people from Saudi Arabia. But at the same time, we do have an ally, and I want to stick with an ally that in many ways has been very good.
And with all of that said, yesterday it was reported that Khashoggi's children have received $1 million houses in Saudi Arabia and 5-figure monthly payments as compensation from the Saudi government. According to Saudi officials, as well as people close to the family, the houses are worth $4 million each, and individual payments of $10,000 or more are made to every one of the siblings every month, with one official telling the Washington Post that this agreement was approved last year by King Salman himself. And the official described the payments as an acknowledgement that a, quote, big injustice has been done, and an attempt, quote, to make a wrong right. And reportedly, in addition to the houses, in addition to the monthly payments, all 4 of Khashoggi's children could receive tens of millions of dollars each. All reportedly in separate payouts from negotiations when the trials of Khashoggi's accused killers are concluded in the next few months. And these payments aren't damages paid to the siblings, they're blood money.
This is sick.
So can I send my deadbeat dad to wherever this happened to? Because I could use some houses.
This is truly sick, man. I was like, wow, man. So, Stanley, what do you have to say about this, man? Did you hear about this, by the way?
No, I haven't heard this update. No, it's pretty intense, to say the least. It just goes to show that
Trump is hilarious, by the way. This motherfucker, damn, man, he is something else.
I was like, okay, it's very nice that the everyday man gets to speak on TV like the senile 70-year-old man. We got to hear his opinion, but it'd be nice to know what the president thinks. Oh, wait a second. That was the president, that crazy mumbling idiot.
Yeah, it's nonstop.
So this is the situation. I mean, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't trust this motherfucker to close the door behind himself. Like not like manage like foreign policy. And we all know stuff like this happens all the time. Like there was a movie, The Devil's Double.
I love that fucking movie, man.
But it just shows you like
movies are fucking amazing. You gotta watch The Devil's Double. That's a highly recommended. Have you heard the movie, Stanley?
No, I haven't.
Oh god, real true story as well.
Yeah, exactly.
You are me now. You are me.
The dude literally buys another guy to be his double.
Yeah.
And that's just the least fucked up thing he does in the movie. I mean, when you have so much money piled up in a destabilized region where people have next to no human rights, journalists, no journalists, everybody's easy pickings, and that's it. And Trump has been very bad with U.S. sanctions, especially against questionable allies, questionable enemies, in terms of what they're doing and how the U.S. should respond or should not respond, and what's the appropriate fashion to approach these subjects, especially since he's constantly in personal conflict because he has ties with oil companies, he has ties with sheikhs, he has ties with Russian interests. So, and he's an idiot above all. So, and he can't fight any of these countries. Yeah, he can't fight any of these countries on the map. Probably if you let him loose, he will wander off and think he already did something. You let him loose like in Central Park, he's going to find a way to come back and be like, I think I just visited the sheikh's home, but he wasn't at home. And he's a very nice guy. And the doorman told me that he was at home, so he couldn't kill him because he was right here in New York next to my big building. Did I mention it that now Trump Towers is a really nice building and I'm going to have a dinner with him now there? He just mumbles. He's mumbling. He always does the same trick. He tells some grounded, real story of how he had dinner with somebody, and then starts talking about himself. And you're wondering, how does this connect to anything when this is a complicated foreign policy issue? And he keeps talking about he had dinner at Trump Tower with this dude. And
he's a nice guy. He's
a nice guy.
He's a great guy.
He ordered spaghetti. He made meatballs.
The Russian guy, he told me. No hacking. He told me himself. I believe him. The Russian no hacking.
I got the best words. I got the best brain.
The best words.
I got the best. What you gonna do?
And he's a very stable genius as well. Don't forget that.
It's like, what is it with him and the world leaders?
I'm gonna send over my foreign policy expert Kanye West. He's gonna be like Houseway.
This guy MBS, Putin, King Jong-un. His relationship with these guys and all the crazy shit they've done. He's like, I believe them. The CIA has got evidence that they're lying. Hey, they told me. I
Fake
believe
news.
them. And then he'll even say that they're good partners though. They do good by us. I mean, the guy even admits that, look, what do you say? The truth is we'll never really know. The CIA's got evidence. We'll never know. We weren't there. The CIA's got recorded evidence. We weren't there. He's good to us.
It's their story against ours.
Yeah, you know, so fucking. It's kind of the more I hear it, I feel like it's a non-story now. But
so what do you guys want to happen? Like, what
No,
if Obama was president? What do you guys?
No,
see as
you know,
the outcome?
what people wanted to happen would have been, you know, it could have been even inside of the war. They wanted him to, because he was a U.S. citizen. They wanted him, you know, they want actually the people responsible over here. They want a real trial, but all of it swept under the rug. They just want, what's what I'm looking for? Transparency. They want true transparency.
Yeah.
But the truth is, the family would have got paid off anyway. They wanted to really they want that, you know, we want justice. We want the people to see who did it, to blame them, and they want, obviously this guy's implicated, the king or whatever, he's implicated for doing the murder, so he should be held responsible. This is some wartime shit. It's never going to happen.
Yeah.
So,
but
people want justice. Ain't going to happen.
This happens all the time, though. Like,
sure,
journalists get killed every day. Some of them aren't American citizens, but
it makes America look bad, doesn't it? Because you're an American citizen.
But it shouldn't make.
He's not a real American. That's what you know. That's what Trump's thinking in his back of his head.
We all know Trump's thinking. Trump's thinking
American.
that, but at the same time, it shouldn't matter what citizen he is. And also, gay people get thrown off of cliffs, and women get set on fire and stoned. I mean, once you go far enough east, fucked up shit happens every day, constantly, 24/7. That's part of the programming, and we deal with it. So every now and then, there's a selective story that can make a good headline, like American journalist killed. So that gets more attention, but that doesn't mean that.
But then they find out how he looks.
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
well, really, is he American?
Yeah, it's like, yeah. But at the same time, we got satellite surveillance, so the appropriate authorities know about this stuff all the time.
Yeah, and they report it to Trump, and he's just like, yeah, well, you know.
And a lot of these situations happen because dictators got, put in place.
Yeah.
By this, other Western nations that had vested interest,
Sure.
or got dragged into conflicts and made a judgment call that, okay, we're just gonna take this guy out. We're gonna put our own guy in there, and once that guy stops collaborating with us, we'll just go after him too. That we had a whole war with George Bush in the wrong country just because of that.
Yeah.
So it's like, it's just a mess that of our own creation, and because we're disconnected from it and we don't vote on these issues, we vote on gas prices and abortions and who gets to use the bathroom at Walmart. So,
I mean, a lot of people, when it really comes down to it, a lot of people don't give a shit about the story. I just wanted to cover it to put a button on it because we were following it for a while last year. It was shocking. But Stanley, go ahead.
Another button I just want to put on it, and I'm going to sound like a broken record at this point, but like, it always comes down to money. Do you know how much Saudi money is in US big
Trump
tech?
just said that.
Like,
Trump just said he take good care. He said that. He admitted it right there.
They've got money.
He took good care of us, man. Come on.
Uber, like, they've got so much money in venture capital, startup companies and whatnot. So, like, they're untouchable.
I bet Trump looked at that thing and said, the family's getting paid. They're all right. What's done is done. The family getting paid. They got a land. They get in a fund. I mean, it's crazy how much they're getting paid. I'm like, was it really worth killing this guy for the amount of money you're paying him at now? Jesus Christ. Just because the guy was talking shit about your policies in your country? Was it really worth it?
It's a drop in the ocean for them.
They got the sanctions. They're paying the money out of their fucking ass. They look bad. I mean, really?
Like Stanley said, plenty where that came from.
I don't know anything about money because that's a lot. Anyway, let's move on. Jesus Christ, man. But so we're going to move on to our star voicemailer. She sent us a story. I know Simon's going to have a little laugh about this one. Maybe not. Maybe it's going to be, I'm fucking sick of this shit. But Tikun, Unusual Wordsmith, bless us with another one of your juicy voicemails.
Avon Critiquing here, dropping in a recommendation video from the Weaponized Nerd Rage. The video in question is called J.K. Rowling Called Out by Her Fans for Diversity, and it mostly just dives into the weird retcons as of late that J.K. Rowling has been doing and how far it's gone to the point where if she really did care about these points, then why can't she just be honest in her books? And the only reason when I bring up the word honesty is that two incidents that come to mind very quickly is the first well-known incident when she said that Dumbledore was gay, and one that happened later on is when they were going to do a Broadway play of the first movie, and they casted a black girl to play Hermione. A lot of fans were kind of questioning on that kind of casting choice. She still did an amazing job either way, though. Again, watch the video. Again, it's called J.K. Rowling Called Out by Her Fans for Diversity. So yeah, have fun with this one, guys. Take care.
We have to watch the video because I just got a short clip and then we'll talk about it. She's getting a lot of heat and I can't wait to find out how much fans you guys are Harry Potter fans. I can already see in Simon's face he's a diehard.
Absolutely.
Let's play this clip here.
Spoiler alert: all wizards are gay. That's why they called wizards.
J.K. Rowling has this really weird obsession with retconning the Harry Potter novels and movies and such well after fucking release. And it started off when she came out and said that Dumbledore was gay, and then there was a play called Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, which later got a novel adaptation. I think that was the proper order, at least. And during the play, they featured a black actress for Hermione. And J.K. Rowling, when questioned about this, said that she thought it was a good idea and that at no point in time within the books did she actually state what Hermione's skin tone was. And immediately, fans of the books came out and said, yeah, bitch, you fucking did. And even gave her page numbers to go ahead and prove their point, which was pretty goddamn hilarious to see if you ask me. But either way, she's been going on and on and on about this stuff and trying to use those books to push her particular brand of politics as well by elaborating on things like Brexit, for example, when she came out and said that Harry Potter and Hogwarts would have voted against Brexit. Nobody cares what your fictional characters have to say about real-world politics.
Stop this fucking guy before I choke him with the microphone. Shut the fuck up. Oh, Jesus Christ. He's like, no, I want to talk about Brexit, which happens in Europe. I'm like, oh, shut the fuck up, you idiot.
Did you get to the end of the video? Or the voice thing?
No, I did.
Oh, cool.
The guy went on for half an hour.
Yeah, I can imagine. He seemed very invested in books he never read because he can't read, apparently.
Damn.
He sounded almost as bad as that guy you played last week or last episode with the Captain Marvel thing.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
What videos is Tiku watching?
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, what's in your browser history that you get recommendations for this bullshit?
Tiku, no. I like Tiku. She looks for alternative thoughts, alternative opinions, and I love it. I love hearing these guys going against it. It gives us a talking point to talk about. So let's get to the meat of the conversation.
It's not opinion if you're wrong.
Okay.
That is just bullshit.
That doesn't sound right, Sam. That sounds like a double ender. But let's get right back on point. So people are cool. Let's talk about the movies for a moment. So the movies of Harry Potter, the first 6 were fine, apparently. Faithful to the book. 7. Who's the fan? You see this?
Apparently, I did my research for this podcast.
Yeah, no, don't try it. Don't try it. I think you've been exposed as a true fan.
I'm a fan because I can count.
Yeah. Anyway.
He was a fan of maths.
Yeah.
These
only till the number 7.
Lucky 7. So. These recent movies with that guy I can't remember from that movie.
Eddie Redmayne.
Eddie Redmayne, yeah.
And Johnny Depp being unable to be a drug addict again by dressing up in a goofy outfit with a goofy accent.
Well, they're calling her the new George Lucas because she's going in.
That's how it sounds like.
Retconning things, putting her political beliefs in the stories that it's a children's book series. Now she's bending things to make it more relevant and hip and just forced and a lot. I think even if you're not a fan of because I'm not, the movies are okay. Never read the books. Movies are fine. I won't watch any of these prequel movies. I don't really understand who's gay. I don't understand these characters.
Everybody's gay. They're wizards.
Okay.
Fucking hell.
Okay, that sounds like blasphemy for the fan kids out there.
Do you know what they do? They wave their wands at each other. What does that sound like?
Not everything's innuendo.
The witches do it as well. Or are you trying to say that they're trannies or something?
Well,
not everything's innuendo, guys. God damn it. Some things is what
I'm just saying you want to be a shaman. Shamans are cool. I always go with anime characters.
What do you think of these authors? Now, some people say authors do whatever the hell they want. But for example, let's talk about so I'll relate it to Simon because I'm sure he'll say I don't give a fuck. But if someone took your precious Batman,
why do you even have me here? Just play that audio clip.
No. If someone had your precious Batman and decided that he wanted to voice his opinion on certain product, how would you feel? You're reading the Batman comic, it's all good. That's me saying fucking, I love my guns, even though Batman's like guns. You know what I mean? He's gonna start.
They did that.
Some things.
They did that. It's called Batman versus Superman. Remember?
Yeah.
Remember he ran around shooting people for the whole fucking movie.
That's a good point. How did you feel about that?
Well, I thought Zack Snyder can go fuck himself. But here's the thing. Here's the thing. I love it because it pisses Republicans and conservatives off. Like that.
Thank you. Yeah.
That dude who when the first Star Wars trailer came out with John Boyega, being the Black Stormtrooper, and I don't know what his name was. Let's call him Dan. And Dan saw the trailer, went home and killed himself. See, that's what you want to do. You want to be like Dan. If this pisses you off
that much,
suicide is the answer. Jesus is waiting for you. Good old blonde hair, blue eyed Jesus is waiting. So just fucking.
But I will say this: people are just irritated with her because it's fake. I think that's what people are upset about because it just seems fake. But do you think she could do it?
No, but they wouldn't be irritated with her if she was the opposite. If her politics were more in line with their views, then all of a sudden they'd be like, I actually like that retcon. Like that's how I see it personally.
But I'll meet you at the George Lucas point because that's what annoys me with this. I'm like, just start a new franchise. Like George Lucas did the Star Wars prequels that had barely any thematical similarities to the first trilogy because he was a completely different guy. He was a multi-billionaire with his own studio, could do anything.
And that's when the special editions came out. That he went
exactly. He could have just started a new franchise that was more, elaborate with the highly choreographed fights, and you can go into all the details in terms of the thematics, the stylistic choices, everything different between the prequels and the main series. Here's the same thing. She wants to do a franchise that's basically Fast and Furious with magic. Fucking do it. That's a Hollywood pitch right there. You walk into Universal Warner Brothers and it says, I got Gal Gadot signed up. I got The Rock in a tutu with a wizard wand. I'm making Fast Magic and Furious. Magic the Gathering. I'm going to adapt that franchise shit. It's a triple franchise.
First, you're talking about horror based on farts. You covered out with a lot of gems today.
There you go. All these elevator pitches. But I'm just saying, she was pissed off because everybody wanted her to write more Harry Potter, so she kept submitting books under aliases.
Yeah, you know about that.
Yeah.
See, how can you not be a fucking fan when you know about that shit?
So now I'm a fan because I can count and
you're making excuses now.
Count and read. Those are my two fan powers.
You're trying to
I'm
just use
reading
your
and counting.
Stanley, do you see this? I think he went a little bit beyond casual knowledge there.
So I actually read all the Harry Potters. So,
after half an hour, he goes like, "Let me get my special autographed edition out there. I carry in my back pocket."
Because when
you're a Trojan horse, when you was a Trojan horse right here.
When you were like, I didn't know that you did the LES's thing. I was like, I thought that was common knowledge, but I guess not necessarily everyone knows that. But yeah,
I think you're the only person that doesn't know. So you try to play it off like, oh, look at you fans. You count till 7 and you read. Nah, man. Here's the thing. Just if you go to Hollywood, they want your money or they want to make money off of your name. So she can pitch it as a new franchise instead of trying to mess around with Harry Potter. Because you change as an offer. The story that sold her, and okay, I had to read this at school, believe it or not. That's why I remember it. that she was broke.
Wow, another revelation. You see, you guys can't just see what I mean?
No. She was broke. She was sleeping on the couch, just like Harry Potter sleeps in that shithole, which is basically 800 pounds a week in London. You know, the terrible accommodation is pretty much a grand in central London. She was sleeping on the couch, and then she wrote these books, and she was like, you know, a single mom. Nobody believed she could be successful, yada, yada, yada. That's a completely different person than multimillionaire liberal activist J.K. Rowling. So she's not going to be able to take her opinions and shoehorn it back into something she wrote as an inexperienced writer 20-some years ago. It's just not going to work. But she can easily do a new franchise and lend her name to it. Maybe hire some talented people. Maybe, I don't know, Ryan Coogler. I think he's a pretty good director. He just made $1 billion with a pretty diverse movie.
But then all that pre-existing fan bases, you know, you're creating a new fan base. They're not all going to follow you. You know, you do Harry Potter one, you're going to get 90% of the fan base.
They're getting 6 prequels. You know, they get a play. They get all this stuff. It's not like the Harry Potter movie stopped. They're never going to stop.
I know, you're right. But like you already just said that she tried to go outside the circle. Didn't work. So she's like, I'm only going to be heard if I fuck with this.
Because it wasn't Fast and Furious with wizards. So she's not listening.
It also,
again,
I think...
Again, you say that, I have no idea what you're talking about. Is that how far she went? I'd never watched those movies.
No, I'm saying like everybody's a different... Because
no, I get what you're saying.
To me, it doesn't even matter. I mean, you know... I'm going to channel our healthcare professional here, but make Hermione black so she can have some ass. That's a welcome upgrade.
Sorry, Stanley, did you want to wrap this up?
I was just going to say, Simon made some good points there actually about how, like, you know, people based on their experiences, like when they get to a certain level of power, they feel they can do whatever they want, especially if they have like a political agenda. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like her doing all this retconning is not annoying. It is. It comes across as disingenuous, and
yeah, that's the word.
People can get frustrated about it. But at the same time, I'm kind of sitting in the middle because I know the people who are most butthurt about it are just triggered right wingers or people who don't like diversity. But at the same time, yeah, she's going too far, and I don't know what she ever said about that. Her getting called out because I saw that where she actually said, I made no claim on what race Hermione was supposed to be, but actually it is there in the books that she is Caucasian or white. So I find that quite embarrassing because A, you're lying, or B, you can't remember what you put in your own books. So it's a bit of a weird one. But yeah, it's one of those situations.
That was very disingenuous when she could have just said, you know, I'm changing, or not even, she could have done what she wanted in a different way.
She could have just left it alone because as far as I'm aware, that play, Harry Potter and the Cursed Child, she had nothing to do. All she had to do was give it the go ahead, give it the tick to say, yeah, I'm good with that. All the casting and everything else is done by, you know, the theatre company or whatever. So when it came out that they were doing like the Hermione was black, all she had to do was say, yeah, she's black. I mean, it's a play. You know what I mean? But she had to take it that bit further and say, like, oh, actually, Hermione, you know, she was ambiguous. I was ambiguous with the race. And then she got called out and she looked silly. So, she's a bit silly for that. But at the same time, people get pissed off over nothing.
Yeah, well, let's lighten the show up before we wrap things up. We've only got 2 more stories to go through, and these are just...
Oh, damn, really?
Yeah. You won't be surprised to know that we're coming to the 2-hour mark anyway.
I thought we were going to do a short one. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that's 2 stories left. So they're fun, they're just silly, and actually I think both of them are born... Well, one's about an urban legend that... I don't want to call it urban legend or just something. Let's just deal with this one first. This is the double baby debacle, apparently. It's a story everyone's kind of laughing about online. But there was a picture I should have showed you before so you can see this. But let's hear the story and then we'll talk about it. It's a short one.
In a strange, remarkable, and 1 in a million case reported by authorities in China, a woman has given birth to twins that have different fathers. While the woman was registering the birth, she must have had a sneaking suspicion that her infidelity would be exposed and to perhaps put her mind at ease, she decided to have a paternity test done. The results baffled everyone. This case is what's known as a double pregnancy. What happens is if 2 or more eggs are released during the same cycle, they can be fertilized by sperm from different fathers. When the twins were born, the father began to ask questions because the newborns just didn't look the same. According to the Chinese newspaper Straight Herald, one of the children had different eyes, mouth, and nose, and did not resemble the father in any way. Because this is a truly 1 in a million case, the father probably thought he was crazy for thinking that he was the biological father of one, but not the other. Apparently, the paternity test is a normal thing with the city's legal process and is actually necessary while registering your baby. As a result, though, they get to record the craziest of circumstances like what happened here. When the test came back saying that the babies had 2 separate fathers, the woman actually had the audacity of trying to blame her husband for tampering with the test results. Once it was confirmed that no alteration had happened, the woman did eventually confess that she had cheated on her husband with a one-night stand. According to the local newspapers covering this, the father said, "I obviously still want my own child, but I'm unwilling to raise someone else's," which in this scenario makes sense. Imagine if the doctors accidentally give him the other guy's kid. That would be a disaster.
I'm going to give this guy a boo. Because I really think this guy's really insensitive right now.
You know, it's not China.
Who, the one that's been cheated on?
No, because he was like, I ain't raising no other damn kid. Give me my kid. I mean, that's kind of hard.
Well, you know what I say. It's not China. It's Chinatown. It's like, that's why all the people are yelling in the trailer. They all had each other's kids. Like, ah!
You know, you would hear this as an urban legend. Like, yeah, gee, I've heard this so when I was growing up.
No,
even in my family.
That's common, man. I saw this in a Brazilian soap opera, and one of the babies was black. The other one was white. That was episode 1.
Yeah, but that doesn't mean that happens a lot where there still can be the same parents.
No, like the woman had an affair with a black guy and a white guy and gave birth to twins.
But people can have different color babies and still be the same father, though. That can happen.
Yeah, but like the difference was pretty obvious. You know, it was like you have a. I
agree with you, but this has happened as well. That ain't my baby. One's back, one's like, and then she be like, "I know it is. Take the test." I don't give a fuck. You can blatantly see. Takes the test. It's both your baby. No, I don't believe that shit.
No. I mean, like the supposed parents were white. But why are we talking about a freaking 20-year-old Brazilian soap opera plot? Like it doesn't matter. 3 episodes later, everybody who had amnesia or was in a coma or died. So it doesn't really matter. But so that's the big story, that this chick cheated on her husband, and the husband's like, I ain't gonna raise nobody's baby daddy.
The picture came out. It was the reason. This was another meme online. The picture came out. The babies didn't look alike, and she was like, "We have twins." He was like, "It's not my baby." Then she was like, "What do you mean? It's not possible to have?" And then a lot of people were like, "Yeah, it's not possible. It's possible." Doctor sort of says like, "No, actually, that one's not your baby."
Oh well.
And she tried to claim that he tampered with it.
He tampered with this test. You just don't want to raise both of them. You're lying, because this isn't common. This isn't common. I know you see it before, but that's fucking television. How many times in real life do you actually see this shit happening?
I've never heard of this before.
If you pulled this shit on your missus and she looked at you and you were like,
how do you mean I pulled it? Like you have to, like, it's on the.
She gets pregnant. You have the 2 kids, one black, one white, and then you think to yourself, okay, the chance of them both being mine, like, you know that statistically this is an anomaly. Well, are you really gonna be like, I want to test?
No, my pregnancy test is easy. Is the kid an asshole? Yeah, that I'm the father. This is as simple as that.
Very honest of you.
It's like, did he flip the bird to the doctor? This is about as far as it gets.
You know what, Stanley? How quick are you asking for a paternity test if you see this happening? One black and white. You see, are you like,
Assuming you're there at the birth, you know, it's like,
what the fuck does that mean?
Well, you know, you have 9 months to find a new accommodation, relocated to a different country.
You're gonna see the baby to this house. What are you talking about? You already on the brick. Go on, anyway, Stanley.
I mean, I always, when it comes to these kind of stories, you kind of find yourself far removed from it, because you'd imagine that if you were to be with someone and you went as far as having kids, that they would never do that to you. But anyway, I will try and put myself in that person's shoes. Yeah, I mean, ultimately, you're going to be a bit curious. You'll find an excuse.
How long are you going to wait, Stanley?
You'll find... Probably not too long. Huh?
A day?
No.
A couple going to wait?
You'd have to.
You know, in this day and age, you can literally do it yourself. You take a hair out and just send it.
Exactly. You can just do it. Yeah.
And be like, look, bitch. Look at
You just be like, look,
I ain't the father.
I went behind your back.
He's doing jumping jacks and shit. Like,
yeah, it's a weird one. I would definitely if it got to a point where it's like that.
You know, if
kid
this
does
is
not
becoming
look like me.
Yeah, if this is becoming more common, it's actually worse, right? Because they say this can happen within 2 weeks.
Well,
you can see it with 2 people within 2 weeks and have a double pregnancy. Then,
well, here's the thing. Here's the thing. Like it's a cultural thing, and B, it's very circumstantial. Because I remember again.
Is it cultural?
Well, I'm saying
what do you mean?
I'm building up to it. Like there's this
racist to me.
It is racist. No, those white people are racist. Haven't you learned? It's like, didn't we give you a hint?
It's in the white person rule book.
It's like, yeah, the number one page of being white, be racist. There's this Japanese movie that's about old grumpy ass Japanese dad kicks the bucket, and this chick shows up at the door of the family or something like that. Basically, one of the parents was unfaithful, and when they pass away, their blasphemous kid, their bastard child, they go without funding, so they have to move in with the parents. And the whole twist of the movie is that instead of discriminating against her and doing the whole Western movie plot, like, freaking William to the Niagara Fall, they just really comfort her, and they go through the mourning process together, and they form a new bond and a blended family, and everybody kind of deals with their own issues, and they support each other, and happy feelings and dumplings and all that. So
dumplings.
So I think if the mother wouldn't have survived, the dad may have said, you know what, it's not my blood child, but it is a child, and it's helpless. So I may raise it as my own, as a dedication of, fatherhood. And because it's not the child's fault how it was conceived, you can't be blamed from the actions of your parents. But since she's not dead, you can just put on these hoes ain't loyal, walk out with your kid, and just call it a day.
All right.
That's it.
You know what? I just realized I flipping forgot a story. Let's move on to these next two. There is two more. One big one. I can't believe I forgot the biggest story of all. I actually forgot. Can you believe it? Do you want to tackle that one right now?
Go for it.
Simon Rad, and I don't have the clip for it because I completely forgot off the cuff. You saw the movie Us, correct? Jordan Peele's movie?
Yeah.
What did you think of the movie?
I think it was a smart idea. After Get Out, everyone was like, how he's going to follow it up? How he's going to follow it up? He did a smart sidestep. He made the movie so artistic and so abstract that all the critics are going to say it's a masterpiece, instead of saying what they actually think is, which is, what the fuck just happened?
I disagree with that point, by the way. I'm going to tell you that right now, and I'll let you finish why.
Well, okay. But to me, it's a very abstract movie, but it's entertaining. I thought it was fine. It's not as funny as Get Out. The character, what's his name? Winston Duke. I love that actor.
Good actor, yeah. Do you know what? Gotta say that right now. Watching that movie, couldn't stop thinking about this guy right here.
Okay.
He reminds me of this guy. Reminds me of him so much.
I thought he was
Winston Duke.
Yeah.
I thought
in that movie specifically, he actually reminds me of. I thought I was watching Stanley in that movie.
Okay, I thought he was doing a Jordan Peele impression, but the one of the metaphorical layers to his character that he wants to have what white people have, and because of that, he loses his.
That's not the Stanley. Don't take that in your head.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I was like, that dude doesn't remind me. That dude doesn't remind me of Stanley whatsoever, because his whole story is that he abandons his
blackness.
His balls, basically.
All right, let me stop there. Let me stop there. Let me stop you there.
Having mercy on me.
You just derailed the whole conversation. All I was gonna say is it's a metaphoric movie. It's not as crowd pleasing as Get Out, but there are some deep themes. And Lupita Nyong'o is hot. That's
why I'm gonna stop.
That's my review.
Came out of the movie. All I kept hearing, this movie. Oh my god, there's so much things in the movie. This, that. I watched the movie, and maybe it's one thing when people are building expectations for a movie. It's another thing when people hype a movie up to a certain level,
Mm-hmm.
The movie was good. There's the people from going to say, oh, the movie's shit, I'm going to be some contrarian. Nah, movie was good. But I was thinking to myself, where's all this cryptic shit you're talking about? The movie isn't very cryptic at all. All this shit that people are talking about It's very surface level. And I'm happy Jordan Peele didn't make it too cryptic and artistic because I would like that as well. Don't get me wrong.
Oh, who's the super fan now? You know there are more than 6 characters in the movie. Doesn't that make you a fan because you could follow the storyline?
All right, fuck you. Just shut the fuck
There's
up
more
right
than
now,
6 plot lines, man. It's like,
where's my button?
what are 6 layers? You're a fan now.
You need to shut the fuck up.
It's my turn to speak.
So you're like, oh, it was so obvious.
I'm
You
gonna
didn't
censor
realize.
I'm gonna censor you right now.
How many breakdown videos did you watch before you came on the podcast talking like I got it the first time around?
No. I'm not sitting here saying that I saw through all this shit. I went on Facebook, right, and people were just like, this movie was so deep and all that stuff. Honestly, I don't think it's that deep. And that's not even, I'm not trying to take away anything from Jordan Peele. I don't think it's super obvious. For one thing, at the very end of the movie, no spoilers, the twist is revealed. There's a big twist in the movie. They tell you the twist. That is not a secret. The main twist is told to you. I think the movie would have been better if he didn't do that. But it didn't bother me that he did. Now, all this other subliminal stuff with numbers, messages, passion, all that stuff, again, what he's saying isn't even that cryptic. And even to that point, the movie starts with an opening call where it says in America, it has an opening call that even tells you more than you need to know. The movie's very hand-holding. So I was just like, you motherfuckers sitting here like this is some kind of cryptic masterpiece. It's good. It's like Twilight at its own level. But people are like, oh my God, you need to get a book. Get out your Bibles. Go on Google. Watch these videos. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me? He has a Bible verse. He just shows you what it is. There's very basic stuff.
I didn't get the Bible part. I think people just trying
Do
to
you know how you get the Bible
religion
thing? You go to the verse and you read what it says. The fuck, man? That's what I was just like, motherfuckers.
But you know why people don't get shit? It's as simple as that. Like,
look, let me tell you, and I know people are going about you son of a bitch. You're saying just no. It was very, from a visual perspective, it was directed masterfully, beautiful movie, acted phenomenally well. The story, the plot, what he's saying, and a lot of it. If you're one of those guys, this doesn't make sense. This doesn't make sense. No, it is a think piece movie. There's things in the movie that do not make sense on purpose because you're meant to think of it in an abstract way. I just don't think that when it comes to the actual plot and what he's trying to say, Hands Against America, it really isn't cryptic. So I just think people hype this movie in a way that it really isn't. Oh, Stanley Kubrick is way more cryptic than what I said the wrong director, didn't I? Was it Stanley Kubrick?
With what? The Shining or
2001?
Space Odyssey?
Yeah.
That only gets cryptic at the end.
Yeah, but I just mean that, so, and also it's a really, really good movie, but funny enough, this isn't the whole reason I brought up this whole fucking point. Not to shit on the movie anyway.
You just want to fanboy out a little bit.
Yeah, the movie's good. Very good movie. Very good second to Get Out. Get Out is, like you said to me in the chat, it's a more crowd-pleasing movie. I think Jordan Peele did this he did the exact right movie. I think he did because it's artistic enough, but not too highfalutin enough that it's gonna make people feel, oh my God, I don't get it. No, he tells you the ending. It's a good twist. It's a bit predictable. I just think he handholds it a bit too much. So when people said that I had to look it up, I was like, you fucking kidding me? I don't really think you have to look this up. Anyway,
Stanley, you know this motherfucker's full of shit. You know he walked out, he walked out of the movie like, what the fuck was that? He quickly looked it up and it was like, oh yeah, obviously.
No, because people kept on going on, you will never understand. Someone actually told me you're going to have to look this shit up. You're going to have to go on Google to figure this shit out.
Well, I know those people because they told me I don't understand what this movie's about. And I'm like, it's about us. And they didn't get it.
Anyway, that is the whole reason I brought this up. Massive backlash. Jordan Peele came out and said that basically he was at some kind of I can't remember. It was, you probably heard this was headlines all week.
No.
Jordan Peele came out and said that I don't want to make movies with a white dude main character.
Good.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. Yeah. Oh, so this is what it took us long enough to get there, right?
Yeah, I was like, what kind of your intro was more cryptic than the freaking movie. Talk about multi-layer narrative.
It's a long word. You basically wanted to give a movie review.
We always do that anyway, right?
All right, cool. All right.
I still don't see how Winston Duke is like Stanley though. It's like you're just throwing shit out there.
No, his character is a soft giant guy, lovable, funny guy, You see, you're thinking too deep about this shit. I just said I saw they're very similar in character.
You're supposed to think deep about a movie.
Huh?
You're supposed to think deep about that movie.
See what I'm saying? This is what I'm talking about.
Going in circles here.
Do you see what I'm saying? This is the motherfuckers I'm talking about right here. Anyway, people was upset with Jordan Peele because he said he would never cast a white actor. He's seen that movie. It was all over the headlines. Jordan Peele's racist. He's racist. Da 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 da. And you know, a lot of great conversations came out of it. But again, people took the byline of what he said. I won't hire a white male character. I've seen that movie. People, he's racist. This is racist. Da 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 da. But you know, we can go on and on because I spoke for so long. I'll get you guys' take on it. You heard the story, Stanley. So what do you think?
I heard the story, but I'm not gonna lie. What was the exact line he said? Like, do you have a?
All right, go with it, and I'll get the quote, and you just go with it
But,
initially.
but you know, yeah, it's just a case of what you just said. People took what he said and they were like, "Ah, there it is. Is read the man weep. Jordan Peele, racist. It's there. Blah 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 blah." But it's what he said was just taken out of context. He was just trying to explain that he loves that I think if I recall correctly, he's just saying that he loves that he's privileged enough to take a movie and take a cast like he has in Us, which is a black cast and it's a horror movie and it becomes a success. And he's trying to say that, you know, he's happy and he loves that he has that privilege. And he just kind of doubled down on that and just said that, you know, that he wouldn't do that with a white cast or with a white lead because he's seen that before. So it's just a case of diversity, diversity kind of winning the day. But yeah, people didn't like that. They took it out of context and they attacked him for it.
Well, Scorsese did like how many movies with De Niro as the lead? Does that make him?
This is the point that Jordan Peele was trying to say. You know, we've seen how many Scorsese movies with De Niro and etc.
Do you know someone said this to Spike Lee? Someone said, "Why don't you hire white people?" You know what he said? Someone's gonna love this. He said, "Why won't Woody Allen hire any black actors?"
Yeah,
touche.
But that's what I meant by Scorsese. Like, is Scorsese discriminating against every other actor who's not Robert De Niro or Leonardo DiCaprio? Like, no, he isn't. He just has a vision of who he wants his lead to be, and some directors have that kind of preference because they can put themselves into that vessel. And for Jordan Peele, it makes sense to be a black cast because he grew up in a black family. He's a black man. You know, it's like, what's so shocking to people about that? You're Army, like,
I don't want to fight the corner. They're just saying that him saying that, or what if it was a white director that said that, you know, I don't want to hire white people. I don't want to hire.
But that's every white director.
That's what they're saying. That has been historically Hollywood, and the excuse Hollywood would make is that we would hire black people, but they don't make any money. So you know, and now Jordan Peele's doing that. He's making a lot of money off his low budget movies. And he's saying that, you know what, I want to sit with my black people because I've seen the white stories over and over again. People are like, you fucking racist. You disappoint me. I'm a young white guy. I'm not racist. I wanted to apply for a movie, but now no one's going to get a part. They're waving that flag. But
I'm sure Adam Driver could get a part in his movie if he really wanted to. Like, I think right now he's just creating his own niche, which is black horror. And good for him for doing it. And, you know, if you're upset about that, just learn not to see color because all lives matter, right? So there you go. Just don't see color because every black person in America has some white in them. And spoiler alert, every human on the planet has some African in them. So either way, it's just going to come around in a circle.
Yeah. I mean, I read people saying that, you know, Jordan Peele is just trying to balance the scale. You know, people like seeing these movies with these guys. He's proven a point. People always even point to Tyler Perry that he does black casting, but he's not doing serious movies. But, you know...
the problem is he's winning Academy Awards while doing it.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Wakanda forever, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
So yeah, Simon's is kind of summing it up perfectly, you know. And I just find it just amazing how the obvious just goes over the heads of the people who complain about this stuff all the time. Like, they don't seem to understand that Jordan Peele is not attacking white people. He's just saying a fact, which is that that's been the status quo for so long, and it still is. And he's just twisting things up a bit and creating a niche, but people just don't seem to get it.
Yeah, they really do. There's so many op-eds on this, and they're just setting the pot. So let's move on to the last part, and I'm going to get in a lot of shit for my preamble. to get to that last point. But yeah, man, this is funny. This is a story about justice, and you know, Simon had better take heed in the story.
In Give Me My Money news, California woman wins $150,000 in child support for 52-year-old daughter.
What the fuck?
$150K.
This is a woman for California.
R. Kelly up in here needs to pay his child support.
Yes, he fled the country. So Tony Anderson is her name, and back a long ass time ago, her ex-husband left her with her 3-year-old and fled to Canada. And so she tried to collect child support. She filed for it and everything, but he fled the country, so there was really nothing that she could do at that point. Back in the 70s, the court actually ordered him to pay child support, so it went through the whole process, and then he moved to Canada. So she couldn't collect, and she was like, you know, totally struggling, just focused on raising her daughter. She ended up creating a really successful business in interior design, so she was able to do it, and it just kind of sat on the back burner, and she didn't think of it. She was just like, I'm just fucked, you know. And then like all of a sudden in her sleep, she was like, I don't think there's a statute of limitations on child support, and this is now 50 years later. Watch out for those sleepy thoughts, man. She goes and just checks it out.
What?
And it was like, no. And at this point, he's living in Oregon.
You came back.
Gotcha, bitch. Gotcha, bitch. He thought he was in the clear. He's like, it's been 50. What a piece of shit, though. I know.
But she hasn't let it go after 50 years.
No shit.
I wouldn't. I raised this fucking kid on my own. I would be pissed hella mad. Yeah.
Every time.
Does the kid know its father?
I got a drop for this.
Here comes the money.
Here we go.
Here comes the money.
Simon. Yeah, watch yourself, son. Just giving you, just letting you know what's out there.
No, because I know that women don't forget shit.
So let me tell you why this is a story that's actually gaining a lot of traction.
Men are trash.
No, this is getting a lot of traction. I thought, oh, you know, it's a funny story. This is the first time someone's won this much money on. Reason being, actually, when it comes to statute of limitation on certain crimes, her state statute of limitations wasn't there. And obviously, the guy is not even well off. He got done compound interest. The judge was like, I'm going to put interest on this currency exchange as well. That's why he owes so much. But then some people are like, you know what? In some states, there's statute of limitations on murder and theft. So why, you know, this seems like a lesser crime. So shouldn't it be, you know, it's some people like this stuff, they don't feel it's right. Maybe she should have let it go. The guy isn't rich as well. Maybe the judge should have taken the circumstance into it.
Nah, fuck him.
I'm on the mind of that. Yeah, you fuck. But then people are like, they want to change the law in the country. Maybe they should have a, you know, if a woman doesn't chase up. This was in the 70s. The woman claimed that in the 70s to now, she just got 50 years and the guy is absolutely fucked. So I don't feel sorry for the guy. Let me just say, I do not feel sorry for this guy. He's foolish enough to come back. Obviously, he fought 5 decades. Yeah, man, this is done. His daughter's 50.
Yo, let me throw the question back at you. Yeah. Why do we have a statute of limitations on anything? I mean,
sure,
I can't unkill you 20 years later. Like, it's just like,
I don't know.
Like, to me, it sounds like a stupid thing.
People say double jeopardy is bad as well when you can get charged for the same crime twice. Is that right?
Well, sometimes you can't. Like, if you're cleared in court, you can't. But then if you get new evidence, like, it gets complicated.
Even then, they'll say no, they can't. So some laws are made, but people just be like, you know, there's some people that's like, this is a bit.
I'm just saying, if you move across the border and you're on Facebook, like, hashtagging I got away with it, probably statute of limitations is a bad idea. Like, imagine somebody like killed your ass and went over to North Korea and put it on Instagram.
Came back.
They came back, and people are like, "I'm sorry, it's been 5 years, man. I mean, we can't do anything." Yeah,
no, people are just looking at the other laws and just like, all right, but why is it? Because I think there's some other laws in that same county where, like, well, you can not have a limitation on this, but worse crimes there are. But murder there is. What the fuck is that about?
Because the law is complicated.
I think it's quite interesting because especially in the West, where like litigation is a way of life almost. It's like a business.
Yeah.
So it's surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's surprising that there would be like statutes of limitations that prevent people from actually taking people to court after a certain. It just goes to show that
and this guy's defending this guy that this was not appropriate because it's ruined his life. She's well off. She has a business. She's successful. Well, he's not. He's a bum.
It sucks to be him then.
It does. I'm just saying that some people are just like, it should be case by case and all that. But I'm like, nah, this when it comes to being a father and that kind of shit, fuck you, this, that, and the other. But I just thought it was interesting and it is gathering a bit of steam. But it's an American story, so for us we can look and laugh.
Of course.
I don't know here what it's like. I have a feeling there is not a statute of limitations. I don't think there really should be. But I wouldn't be surprised if there was. If there was, it wouldn't surprise me. If they said 25 years and, if you don't follow up, that's your problem. In London, I wouldn't be surprised. In UK, I mean.
If you think about it, a statute of limitation, if you really think about it, it's going to sound like conspiracy theory, but sometimes these kind of things are put in place to protect particular, individuals.
Oh, yeah.
So there would have been someone years and years and years ago when it was put into place.
That's a great
point.
Who
might have been in the pickle. And a law was put into. Maybe he had the right connections, and he was able to get somebody to pass a law.
I'll just follow your train of thought and give it even. Just imagine the guy died, but then his relative would be liable. I got to get him from someone that your relative, and they just pass it on. It could be a slippery slope.
But his relative is his kid, so it's just like you can't owe yourself money.
What about uncle with father?
Oh, fuck the uncle. What is that? You can divorce your family, like you could divorce your brother. Then it's like
I don't think you can do that actually, but I know what you mean.
What? Here's the thing: people play this game all the time. Like Stanley said, people move to countries where they cannot be extradited.
Yeah, of course,
and just wait for the statute of limitations to run out.
That 3D gun guy.
Or Roman Polanski. That's what he's hiding out over here. Yeah,
it's
people do this game all the time. So
it shouldn't be legal again. That's the very exactly.
But the law gets complicated, and most people weighing in on the issue aren't lawyers. So
100%,
you're not gonna get a solution. And like Stanley pointed out, most laws were written by old white guys who were fucked up to the core. Doing some fucked up shit in the background. Not to be too sarcastic, because obviously, brightest mind on the planet wrote a lot of.
I thought he was gonna say pessimistic.
No, I'm just saying. Obviously, there's a lot of very smart, capable, intelligent people in human history that contributed a lot to bring laws and order to the world where we are. Yeah, but there's also a bunch of corrupt motherfuckers that just fucked it up for everybody. So,
well, I got a question for you, Stanley.
Why haven't you learned anything?
Yeah,
because it's human nature.
I'm a rapper, so we don't learn from our mistakes. I actually have a couple of good things this week.
Okay.
Do you want the fun one first or the kind of semi-serious one?
Why don't you give us the semi-serious hits with the phone? I'm looking at Simon. I wonder what he's learned this week. I can see his mind ticking away. I can see it. Yeah.
I learned to count to 7 apparently.
Okay, cool.
Do you learn who's editing the podcast? I don't think you have. Go on, Stanley.
So yeah, I was doing a little bit of reading up earlier, and Nipsey Hussle, rest in peace.
Oh,
he actually
bringing it full circle.
Yeah,
he was a Harry Potter fan.
He might have been. You never know. He actually coined his name from someone that was called Nipsey Hussle. So just give it. Apparently, one of his friends. Gave him the nickname. So yeah, Julius Nipsey Hussle was an American comedian, poet, and dancer best known for his appearances as a panelist on the game shows. From the 1960s through the 90s. His appearances were frequently distinguished in part by the short, humorous poems he would recite during the broadcast, which led to his nickname, the Poet Laureate of Television.
Nice.
So apparently that's where Nipsey Hussle coined his name from. So
you know what? I'm going to give you a round of applause for that. That was one of your best. It was on point. It was apt.
There you go. I can pull them out of the hat sometimes. Yeah. And then the next one.
Sometimes.
Okay, sometimes, yeah. That's something. And then the next one, can you guess what apparently the most difficult... So according to the Guinness World Book of Records, the hardest tongue twister ever. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, Simon Red's a good guy. That was pretty hard, you know. Shit, let me try it again, sir.
You just said it, motherfucker. So you just broke the Guinness Book of Records.
I died. Literally, I don't think I said it right. It doesn't even make sense. That's what the point. It's like I don't think I said it right. It isn't right.
I used to know the word in high school, but I forgot.
He's a fucking liar.
So apparently it goes like I've never heard of this one before. So it goes, the sixth sick sheik's sick sheep's sick. So so I'll say that again. So this
sounds like mumble rap.
And if you try and say it fast, it's basically impossible. So the sixth,
you know what I'm gonna do in post? I'm actually gonna do it. Make you do it 3 times.
Yeah,
just put the N word in there. It can be a song.
Jesus Christ.
And that basically becomes a mumble rap song. To be fair,
you know, Stanley, absolutely well done. I might even give you a second round of applause there.
Wow.
Triggered. Okay.
Yeah, you had
Simon, I got my finger on the triggered button. So what have you learned? I've already got it on the triggered button. So what have you learned this week?
I learned to get proper security.
You know what? Funny enough, I'm gonna join you. Is that what you learned? But you ain't a rapper, and you definitely ain't going back to community. You're already out of your country.
I'm my own
Forgetting
community.
about your people.
I can say shit. That's very true.
Could you see somebody do that? Like, just get away. Forget them.
I'll go back to the original point. I need more money. More money is always good.
Cool. You know what? And I was just about to say, I learned that, you know what? When you made it, you need to help from far away. You need to think of PayPal, think of Bitcoin. You know, you need to educate your people from afar. And yeah, it's a sad, but if I won the lottery, honestly, probably the closest people to me will be the last to know, because I'll plan everything out.
Like
and
how you're gonna spend it and stuff.
Just give it to them and be like, I'm done. My money's gone.
I've already allocated it.
My money's already locked. There's no asking Jesse that you got yours, here's mine. That's it.
Yeah, you're gonna fake your own death,
and I'm gone. No, no, that's what I learned. It's sad, man.
So you're basically saying you need to help from far away, like Idris does. You need to become the next step in human evolution.
I can imagine you spending your money on that, by the way. You go to Jesse's house and it's like a laboratory full of all these gadgets.
You become superhuman.
Superhuman.
Unnecessary shock to the system.
The new evolution. The next evolutionary change. So anyway, it's time to wrap up the show.
You just gotta change your name to Brixton.
Nah, that's just really, really, really corny. And it's actually asking for trouble. Walking down the street, who's that? Oh, it's Brixton. You Brixton, huh?
Well,
I got something for you, Brixton. Pow, pow, pow.
But first you make yourself bulletproof, right? Yeah, that's step one.
Nah, I'm not gonna be doing that. So anyway, it's been a very wacky show. Voiceofmail.com. Sending your voicemails. We're very voicemail light. This show, I don't know how it's turned out, but it's going to be a fun edit. Simon Rad, the arsehole.
Are we going to play some bullshit as game show, The Wheel of Fuckery or something like that?
Escaped.
The Wheel of Fuckery, you know. Nah. Simon is not the right guy to play that game at all. He would just been stalling every step of the way. This is gay, this is there, this is there. So no, that's right. Yeah, Simon Rad, where can people find you on the web? I know he's going to say no web, but where can they find you on the web?
No, because for legal reasons I can't, because I don't want to get into shit in my workplace. So.
That's fine. You can find him here on another podcast that we've done together. So Stanley Ike on the mic. Let the people know where they can get you.
Yes, you can catch me on SJ all the way _ That's SJ all the way _ on Twitter and on Instagram.
And like I said before, we're going to stop putting the long form content on YouTube. It hasn't really performed well. I think clips are going to do a hell of a lot better.
Unsubscribe.
We're going to be doing that. No, don't do that. We've been doing it on Instagram all along. Follow us on Instagram at VOM Podcast. Follow our podcast at voicemail.com. And I want to thank all the patrons for helping us. I want to thank all the subscribers. And until the next time, Jolly's Farrah, screw you. Until the next time, guys, thanks for listening, thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one.
Au revoir.